to another episode of Porch Talk. This is episode 40 and our playoffs round 2 preview. Before we start in this episode, I just want to go over a few things. First time viewers of the show, this episode will be laid out kind of like this. I'm going to start off. We have great young men from Hurley High School. An interview with them. Their season may be over, but we still wanted to give them some airtime and have a look at who they are and the memories they had throughout the season. So our playoff preview interviews will start with Virginia High's Alijah Burks, KeShawn Smith, followed by Eastside's Luke Trent and head coach Mike Rhodes. After that, we have Grundy's Luke, Quake Shelton, and Shaiem Flash Gordon. And all those interviews, they'll vary on time. Some are longer, some are a little bit shorter. We kind of just ask our typical questions, and then we just see where the conversation goes. We don't really have a we kind of go into the night trying to have like a set time we want to get in and out. But if the conversation kind of leads us to go a little bit longer, we don't rush them off or anything. So I really hope you enjoy these conversations. Not only we conclude our interview this week, or our episode this week, our round 2 preview and picks, and our guest picker this week is Rye Cove's Michael Edwards. As Michael explains further in the episode, he is the coach of the state champions Cove softball team, great team there last year. He talks about that. It's like being a part of that team. Keeps stats also for the Rye Cove football team, and he has a long history of ref in Southwest Virginia. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy the conversation we had with him. He has a lot of insight to a lot of these schools, and he had a few fun stories to share along the way. So we want to thank all the players and coaches and Michael for taking time, their busy week to participate in these interviews with us. We hope you guys enjoy it just as much as we did you recording it. Just a few more things before we get started. If you are in the Tazewell County area or in close driving distance, I personally would like to invite you Sunday to attend Life Church in Cedar Bluff, Virginia, located in the Claypool Hill Mall. Pastor Brandon there and the whole church family has been wonderful to us, and it's just a great experience every week. So I just wanted to use this platform that I have to invite you guys this Sunday to the service. Also, big announcement. Been working on this for a few weeks, and to announce that we are partnering with Blackberry Winter. Blackberry Winter is a charity organization here in Southwest Virginia. We do a lot of amazing work in our area. I'm very happy to be even just a small part, sharing who they are, and the mission that they have. President from Blackberry Winter, Teri Crawford Brown, nice enough to give us some clips. These clips, she's going to share more information about who they are, what they do, and some of the stuff they might need. I also like to advise you guys to go and follow them on Facebook to get more details. After the announcements, after I get done running my mouth here at the beginning, we'll have a message from Teri, and then in between each interview, I've placed some of the clips that she has sent us, just to kind of give you all some information there. Yeah, be alert to those. Don't skip over them. And again, be sure to follow them on Facebook. Final thing, we're in the process of getting a business to sponsor us, a local restaurant. I also like to extend that offer. So if you have a business in Southwest Virginia, if you want to get an ad out here on our episode, message us, message me personally on my Facebook or Jamar, the podcast page. We'll continue to go through the playoffs and then, through high school basketball, and we're going to continue to do our high school interviews with the kids and the coaches. And the basketball season gives us a little bit more flexibility, the amount of games and games kind of just happening, every day. So we will continue to do our special guest series that we haven't done here in a little bit. And we'll try to get some local legends that, you all, the older ones may have grew up watching and the younger ones hearing about. And we'll sit down with them and let them discuss their whole life and they grew up and into their high school careers and even further. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for those. But again, as far as sponsors go, if you want an ad on the podcast, just message one of us and we'll see what we can come up with. That's it for the announcements, guys, and I hope you enjoy the episode.
This is Teri Crawford Brown with Blackberry Winter. So if you don't know what Blackberry Winter is, it's a nonprofit that I started in 2018, and we take donations of gently used furniture and give it to people who are starting over from nothing. It doesn't matter why that they're starting over, illness, fire, addiction. We help a lot that come out of the domestic violence shelter. So we are based in Southwest Virginia, and since 2018, we have furnished almost 700 homes. When I started doing Blackberry Winter, I realized that a lot of children in our community were sleeping on the floor, and I think children struggle to learn and grow and to feel loved sleeping on the floor. So then that became the second prong of what Blackberry Winter does. We provide beds to children in our community, and so far we have provided close to 1,500 beds in Southwest Virginia.
Okay, everyone. We got Hurley's Kanan Justice and Landon Adkins on here with us. How you guys doing?
Doing great, Sam. How are you?
Doing good. The way we're going to kind of do this interview, I'll toss out the questions to you, and we'll start off with Kanan. We'll let you answer them first, and then after that, Landon, you can follow him.
Yes, sir.
So we'll go ahead and start with our first question. When did you guys fall in love with the sport, and also did you have any athletes you looked up to growing up, and that could be local or professional?
I just kind of fell in love with it whenever I was like at a young age. I guess like whenever I could first start playing, and I kind of looked up to the 2016 team, because there's like 10-0 and all that, and I just fell in love with it like real young age, and ever since then I've just played ever since then.
Truly, I don't know if there's really anybody I looked up to. Maybe my grandfather when he coached the 1982 team and they went 10-0. Excuse me. But when I fell in love with the game was probably fourth grade when I first started playing with one of my best friends. We both came on together and it took off from there, and I never stopped and just kept getting better every single year.
We're going to talk about the season a little bit. It was a little bit of an up and down season, but you all finished it out strong. So I'm going to go to each of you. Just, how much do you think you guys, well, not only how much, but in what ways do you think you all grown from the beginning to the end?
Honestly, I think we've grown as a team since like summer workouts and stuff like that. We've got better, and I think like next year when the younger guys that comes up that got to play a lot this year because they don't have many kids, they'll be ready, and I just think we got better as a team, as everybody.
Coming into this year, we didn't have many expectations. We thought we could beat some teams that people thought we wouldn't, and we did that coming in, and we also lost to some teams that people thought we should beat this year. But I'm really proud of everybody that stepped up. We had so many young guys and so many guys that sophomore, juniors who hadn't played in years and years since they were little kids. And I feel like we really developed over the year. I think I got to know everybody. Like Kanan, I've known him my whole life. But some of these guys, I think I really grew with them, and I hope I left my impact.
First of all, Kanan, that's a good-looking deer behind you. Just want to give you a shout out on that.
Thank you.
This is obviously for both of you, but speaking just in your words, for people who a lot of our listeners by now have obviously heard about the Cliff and know about it. We've talked about it several times on here. But from a player's perspective and growing up there, what are y'all, just put into words what it's like playing over there for that community? What it's, just having that atmosphere every Friday night at home, stuff like that. And especially for you, Landon, it was your senior year, last one, kind of put into what it's been like for you, in particular with it being over now. And Kanan, obviously you're younger, but next year, if everything holds out, it's going to be the last year as far as Hurley goes, and Twin Valley and Grundy. But in your all's words, from a player's perspective?
Honestly, I think that ever since I've got to play at the Cliff, it's been it's just like field that nobody really ever has, and it's like a really cool. It's like really fun to play on under the Friday night lights and stuff like that. And the community is great. We got like a great fan base or whatever, and it's just really fun to play under the Cliff and the lights and Friday nights.
When I first got to high school and in my 8th grade year, I don't, I took it in as the last game when I walked off of that field. We were playing Twin Valley under the snow, and before I walked down the steps to the locker room, I turned around and looked at the lights and the Cliff, and I really took everything in. And I think that it impacted me for the next years that I was actually playing, and it really meant a lot to go out there and compete for the fans and community that come up and show up and show out every single day and night to come watch that Hurley football team. Just wanting to do good for everybody around, everybody that pays money to get in that gate.
And, the Cliff is something that as you get older, I mean, you can always tell your future coworkers and everything that, hey, I played at that. I mean, because you are the last few that's going to get to do that. And it's one of the, in my opinion, I think Jamore's opinion too, it's probably one of the most special places to play at in Virginia. They're one of the most unique anyway. But, I want to touch on the coaching staff a little bit there. We had Coach Dill on at the beginning of the year. Great guy, great coach. And I was going to give you both an opportunity to talk about Coach Dill and not only him, but the cast around him as well.
And Coach Dill, he's a real good coach. He's a young coach, and he does great. And the he's like he's really good, and he helps us with whatever, and he gives us rides, practice, and stuff like that. And the Nick, our defensive coordinator, he's really good at the defense, and he's a good coach, and he helps us with whatever. And Beefy, he's good too, and he's really good at telling everybody what to do and helping everybody out with everything and stuff like that.
Last year, when everything went down mid-season, Coach Steele took over, and he really ignited my love for the game and sparked that fire back and made me really want to play the sport again, because before that, it was kind of dying down. But he really brought it back. I'll always thank Coach Steele for that, and I'll never forget the way I felt that first game playing under him as head coach and going over to Thomas Walker getting a win when nobody thought we were going to. Coach Gibson, he works day and night. Every single second he has free to draw up defenses and check film and see what he needs to do to put us in the best spot and position to win ball games. Coach Keene, he does every single thing that Coach Steele asks of him, no matter what it is. Every single coach on that staff is just an amazing person. Like Kanan said, Coach Steele lives all the way in Vincent and comes to us every day. He came here every day during the summer to open that weight room at 8 a.m., and we got after it for him. It's a really special group of guys, and I wouldn't rather play under anybody else.
Do either of you all play any other sport?
Yeah, I play basketball.
Sorry, I mean, but well, you can go ahead and answer it, Landon.
I do basketball and track.
Basketball. Have you all always been, played all the sports, or just kind of, the only two you played, and how far back?
I played basketball and football ever since pre-K, and it's just always been my favorite two sports to play, and I just really love playing them.
Basketball started for me when I was in first grade, and then football I picked up in fourth, and we didn't have track in elementary or middle school, and I started in ninth grade.
Hey, guys, I want to talk about you personally with your skill sets and your mindset going into a game. Kanan, you this year being a young player, you really excelled this year, and I think grew a lot. And Landon, I think that it's pretty well known you're one of the best defensive players in the region. And I think that I'm curious, just mentally, for each of you, what's your mindset when you all go into the game?
Just like the morning of the football game when I wake up, it's I'm already like ready to play, and whenever I hit the field, it's just like I try everything I can to go get a win for our team, and whatever I can to do to help our team, and stuff like that, and just go get the win and help our team best I can.
Mentally, it's not as challenging for me. The night before, I can barely go to bed because I'm so excited to get up that next morning and just I want school to be over so I can get ready and get in those pads. Going on the field, it takes 11 or we are absolutely going to get destroyed. No matter who you're playing against, if you don't have 11 guys out on that field that are ready to do whatever it takes, then you're going to lose that game. And that's my job. That was my job this year as leader, to get these guys ready, get all 11 on each side of the ball ready to go play this game and go succeed in every way we possibly can.
Over your playing careers, other than Hurley, where's your favorite place that you've played or like to play, and where's your least favorite place you played?
I guess I'd have to say my favorite place to play is either, I guess I'd have to say either like Riverview or like Richlands or like Howlaker. And probably my least favorite probably have to be Riverview.
I'm completely opposite from him. I despise turf with everything in me. I hate playing on turf. My favorite field is probably Rye Coves because they have that Bermuda grass and it just feels so soft on your feet when you're running and when you land on it. It's like it don't even scratch you up. But any field that has turf is absolutely my least favorite.
I get that. I like running on the turf and stuff, but man, you got that turf burn too. You gotta deal with. Now I want to talk about your roster, the roster around you a little bit. Give each of you an opportunity to shout out some of your teammates.
Uh, yeah, I guess like my main guy would probably have to be Josh Duty because me and him got like a connection, and we just was like there all year together and just had that connection whenever we come in like the summer, throwing back and forth, running routes or whatever. Just had a good connection from the start, I guess, for my first year at the quarterback. And then I had a couple of my other wide receivers like Rye Justice and my brother Gage Justice. So just my brother, I got a natural connection, and we do pretty good. We throw around at the house or whatever. I just got the connection with him, and Reed, me and him throw a lot. We're really good buddies, and uh, we just got the connection. And Chase, our offensive lineman, Chase Baker, I've just always had a pretty good connection with him, and he's a really good offensive lineman for us, and he really helps us a lot. Uh, Landon, he's always been, since I've been there, showed me what to do, and if I do something wrong, help me get better at it and stuff like that.
Josh Duty, or Bob, as everybody has called him basically his whole life. We definitely have a connection. We've grown up together. We played every sport together. Me and him have almost every class together, and we have our whole life. I've told him all year. I told him all year. Every time, every play, I was pulling on the O-line. So, if somebody else watched film, it was going to where I was going. But every single game, I just look at Bob and I'd say, follow that lead blocker, number 3, follow that lead blocker. And he'd come right on. And luckily, he got his 1,000. And I truly feel like I'm a big reason of that. And another big reason of that was Chase Baker, another sophomore like Kanan. I'm really proud of him and the kid he's stepped into. He's became a man this year. And he missed the first few games due to an injury at practice. That was very unfortunate. But seeing him step into the shoes that I'm leaving behind was really good. And I'm so happy to see him take that step.
This can be, if you're working out, this can be pregame, it should be in your vehicle on the way to school, anywhere. What kind of music you like listening to? What's your favorite? And second part of this question, if you had a UFC fight coming up this weekend, what would be your walkout song?
I guess like day of the game or whatever, I listen like to rap, hip hop, or whatever, every here and there, and then I throw in a little country music every now and again. But my walkout song, I guess, I'd have to go something by AC/DC, I guess. Something. I mean, just, I guess that's what I'd have to go with.
That's always a tough question that kind of stumps everybody. So you came up with an answer
Yeah.
quicker than most.
Listen to music on the drive to school or really anywhere. My main go-to is usually Zach Bryan, the country artist. I listen to a little bit of hip hop and rap every now and then, but it's mainly country. And honestly, if I'm in that octagon walking in, my walk-up song is probably going to be All Summer Long by Kid Rock because I feel like I have a connection with that song.
Solid one. Me and Jamar watched a UFC event together this past weekend, and Kid Rock actually came up a few times in conversation. So that's a pretty good one right there. I'm gonna go ahead and ask you guys, and I know Kanan, you still got a few years for this, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Do you guys have any plans after high school, to play football or any other sports, or is there something else you have in mind?
Honestly, I really haven't made my mind up yet, but I'd really like to be able to play like football or basketball when I get out of high school, like in college. But if that don't work out, then I guess I'd either go to college my 4 years and get my degree and stuff like that. And then I don't really know what kind of job I'd get yet, but I'd really like to play basketball or football in college or something like that.
For me, I think more than likely my favorite sport is basketball, but I think the basketball shoes are going to stay in my closet and the shoulder pads are going to stay in the equipment room. I think I'm done with those two sports. I'm happy with the way they both turned out. Basketball season's coming up, but hopefully I believe I'm going to go to college and compete in track and throw the field events.
Hey,
Right.
Cam.
Well, I'm actually I got my one last question, so I'll go ahead and let you.
We'll get
ask
into
a few
the
more. Yeah.
All right, your top three favorite sports movies.
Varsity Blues is definitely in there. It really not a movie, but I really like Last Chance U, and I can't really think of the other one right now, but it's like right on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think of it. But it's I don't know. I'll see if I can think about it, and after Landon goes, and I'll tell you.
My three favorite sports movies is, in no order, is probably Remember the Titans, Greater, and probably Blindside.
Yeah, it's Blindside. I just can't think of it, but I really like Blindside.
Okay, good answers. Let's see. Y'all have any other hobbies? I see Kanan's got the deer head behind him, so I know what one of his hobbies is. But any hobbies other than sports? What we find y'all doing on the weekends? What do y'all like to do?
Yeah, definitely probably my favorite one is hunting, and I like to ride a lot, like side by sides and motorcycles and stuff. And uh, I mean, honestly, I like to fish during the summertime or whatever. But yeah, it's probably about a couple of my hobbies.
Fish during the summertime as well, but I'm more of a not really stay at home, but I travel and see my family a lot down in Lexington, Kentucky, and I travel down there a lot, spend time with all of them, and really just spend time with friends and family mostly. But I definitely get outdoors, and a lot of weekends you'll find me in a basketball gym.
Okay, this is pick between the two, or pick one or the other. PS3 or Xbox?
Xbox.
Definitely an Xbox kind of guy.
Favorite game?
I've played it my whole life.
Favorite game y'all got?
It either have to be Call of Duty, 2019, or I know college football came out. I really like it.
Favorite game of all time, probably either Call of Duty Ghosts, because I would just come home and that was my whole purpose in life. I feel like when I was younger and just came home to play that, or NCAA football 14 was definitely one of the best times I've ever had playing a video game.
All right, we got Thanksgiving dinner coming up here next week. If you could only pick one, would you go turkey or ham?
I'm going turkey.
All right, what are your
Turkey
three
by far.
sides? Sorry about that, Landon. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Turkey by far.
Turkey. All right, and you can pick three sides. What do you got?
Mac and cheese is definitely number one. I'll probably go mashed potatoes and stuff.
This might be a little weird, but I get mashed potatoes. I make a hole in the middle of it. I put corn in the middle of my mashed potatoes and then brown gravy over top of it. And then if gravy don't count as a side, then probably rolls or maybe mac and cheese.
Okay.
It's a cool
I don't
process.
see anything wrong with that at all. It sounds smart to me.
Save space for other food.
Yeah, I mean,
It's clever.
great. You getting creative at that point. That's all I got, fellas. I'm gonna throw it back to Cameron here in a second, but I just want to say thanks for coming on here. We appreciate it, and it's good to get to know y'all a little bit. Good luck to y'all in the future and whatever y'all decide to do. Obviously, Kanan, you'll be back next year for Hurley, so good luck next season. Good luck during basketball. Sure, we'll see you play at some point. But just for me, I appreciate y'all coming on. I'll throw it back to Cam for his last question.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having us. It's an honor, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Jamar said. Same thing. A lot of viewers don't know that we're going to try to have you all on about 2 weeks ago, and as fate would have it, had some stuff go on with my family's medical stuff. Kind of got podcast rescheduled, and then that Thursday you all ended up playing. So just kind of give some people a backstory on kind of what took so long. But I would first want to say thank you guys for your thoughts and prayers, because you all you would message me and send me some messages of encouragement, and like I said, they was praying for me and my family, and I really appreciate that. I just want to say it's a kind of a special place for me. I know we graduated from Twin Valley, but I have family in Hurley. My mom, as I grew up, she was over in Hurley, so it's a special place to me. And I think it is sad that the school's kind of closing down, after next year. But it really is something you all can hold on to after you leave high school, to say that you played for, that you was a Rebel. So again, though, I want to thank you all for coming on and get to this last question. But the last question is, what's the biggest motivation you have when you go out there and play?
My biggest motivation probably is I go out there and play for like my papa, because he really likes football, and I really want to go out there and do the best I can for like him and my mom and my dad and stuff, and do the best I can for them, because they push me to do good, and I always want to do the best I can, because they always made me where I am.
My grandma and grandpa showing up to every game, no matter what the circumstance is, means so much to me, and they motivate me to go play. And my mom coming in from Lexington, Kentucky, as many chances as she gets, as far as it is, it really motivates me to go play the game that I love, and they love watching me play. And my teammates really motivate me too, because I know I got to go put on a show for them.
Answers, guys, and a great interview. And again, like Jamar said, we'll catch you down the road when it comes to basketball season, because we'll continue our coverage during it. And heck, we might even have you back on. We'll wait and see, but we'll definitely try to catch a game. But again, guys, we appreciate it. And you got anything else, Jamar?
I'm good. Kanan, it's rifle season, so I'm assuming you're hunting this weekend. So good luck. And Landon, if you're hunting, good luck. I'm not if you hunt or not.
Thank you. Sometimes.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, fellas.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless y'all.
Hey, dude.
You too.
A Blackberry Winter is an Appalachian saying. It is a cold snap in the spring after the blackberries have bloomed. And my mama used to tell me that when we would experience a blackberry winter, that the blackberries would be more hardy because of the cold snaps. So I named my nonprofit that because I love the way we speak, and I'm so proud of my Appalachian heritage, and because we all have cold snaps in life and need help from people.
Welcome back, everyone. We got Virginia High's Elijah Burks and KeShawn Smith here with us. How you guys doing?
Good.
Guys, we're going to go ahead and start off in your childhood and just tell us when you fell in love with the sport, and then also if you have any athletes you looked up to. The way we'll do this, we'll go ahead and start with you, Elijah, and then after you get finished, KeShawn, you can jump in right after him.
That'd be good.
All right, Elijah, just when you fell in love with the sport, and then any players you looked up to, and that could be local or professional.
I fell in love with the sport when I was like 5 years old. I've been playing since I was 5 years old, and I look up to Marshawn Lynch. What was my fault. I fell in love with football. I say around 5 years old, and a person I looked up to was DK Metcalf.
Solid one.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about your season a little bit. But before we get into that, what did you all do just off-season wise to get ready for this year?
We did a lot of practicing, like not with the team, but like as like seniors and stuff, like just like getting to know our tendencies and stuff. So like a lot of off-season like workouts and like stuff like that we did together.
Yeah, just a bunch of drills basically. You basically said it all, just a bunch of drills and stuff. We worked out a lot, for real. So basically worked out every day throughout the week.
It's definitely paying off.
Now, growing up, did you all play in other sports? And are you playing in other sports now in high school?
I played basketball and I wrestled before, but now I just do like track and like indoor track.
I play basketball and I do track.
As far as the season goes, I think it started a little slow, but we both said over the last few weeks, I think you all are probably the hottest team in Southwest Virginia. And I don't really think that. I'm not talking about just in 2A. I think any classification down this way. So, just throughout the season, how much do you guys think you've grown and in what ways?
We've grown a lot, like, as a team, because, like, at the beginning, we was, like, it might be a rough start, it might not, because, like, we kind of have, like, a tough schedule. So we was just, like, seeing what would happen. And, like, so after the first 3 games, it was, like, we can't lose anymore. And we just changed our mindset. We came in ready to work, and then that's how we're here where we are now.
But yeah, like you said, like after we lost those 3 games, like I texted him in the group chat. I told him like we need to lock in and stuff. So we need to be consistent, and that's what we did. So
I think y'all have one of the best coaches in Southwest Virginia, Coach Patterson. Just want to give you a chance to talk about Coach, and then also talk about the staff around him.
Coach Patterson's a really good coach. Like, coming in, he, like, holds us accountable and stuff. So, like, he's a really good coach. Go ahead, Key.
Nah. He keeps us a good kids for, like, I don't know, like, he's a good coach. Like, he's a great coach.
What are the other coaches around him? You got some supporting cast you want to shout out?
I say Coach Mabe. Coach Mabe, he's a very good coach. He's our middle linebacker coach and our special teams coach. He's a great coach. I like
Coach
him.
Coach Mabe and Coach Belcher, yeah.
Y'all at Virginia High, people like us or anyone else who's not familiar with y'all's program or that in-depth familiar, I guess. Y'all got any cool traditions or rituals y'all do it, before games or that's been passed down from previous teams or anything like that?
I don't think we do.
No, we don't. I mean, other than pep rallies, but no, we don't really, we don't really do anything special other than pep rallies.
Straight to business.
Yeah.
Talk about the roster around you a little bit. I'll give you both an opportunity to kind of shout out some of your teammates.
Logan Slagle, he's a really good player. Offensively, defensively, he's a really good player.
Nah, yeah, he's most definitely. If I'm not doing good, he's going. He got my back. He got my back. And then Dion, our QB. Yeah, he really stepped up from last year. He really stepped up. He's a great QB.
Our whole line too. Our whole line's really good.
Yeah.
This is not football related, kind of sports related. I'll get into some of the weird questions that I'll let Cam get back to the football here in a minute. But y'all's top 3 favorite sports movies.
I like Coach Carter. That's one. I like Coach Carter. That's one. What's that one would be called?
It's a tough decision whenever you're on, like you put on the spot like that.
I like The Blind Side.
Blind
And
Side.
The Longest Yard. And like Creed, like the boxing.
Oh yeah, Blindside's been a pretty popular one among the guests we've had.
Yeah.
I said that's probably been one of the most consistent ones.
Forgot about Blind.
I like the Coach Carter answer. That's one of my favorite movies.
Coach Carter, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love Coach Carter.
So kind of want to talk to both of you, like more specifically to your game. I think you both are 2 of the best playmakers in Southwest Virginia. I think, Alijah, I'm curious, or both of you, what's your mindset going into Friday nights, knowing that, at this point, you both are focal points for the opposing team's defense to watch. So what's your all's mindset?
We just got to be ready with whatever happens. And we got to go in with like a winning mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like we need to stay consistent when we go in the game, and like when we go in the game, we just need to have that winning mindset. So that's all for real, and just we need to be ready. That's for real.
Pre-game music, anything like that, but like, or not just pre-game, but just whenever. What's some of y'all's favorite stuff you listen to? And then the second part, if you had a UFC fight this weekend, what would your walkout song be?
No.
Pre-game, I listen to Raw Wave. A lot of Raw Wave.
Go ahead. What's your UFC? Go ahead.
I don't even know.
As usual, the toughest one for people.
Now, there's been a lot that haven't been able to give an answer to this question before they get off. That takes a lot of time to think about.
I listen to Huncho. That's like a non-known rapper, but a lot of people know him. So I'll probably walk out to Big X the Plug.
Oh yeah.
Big X
so you got
Plug.
one. Awesome.
Yeah.
Elijah, if you come up with one throughout the episode, you just let us know and we'll put it in there. It is a tough one, man. There's people, like you said, there's people that get through the whole thing and don't think of that. I want to talk about this Friday night. I think that's really what everybody's really wanting to get on here and listen to. Y'all have a huge matchup Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Graham's well known around here, and every year they've been making it pretty far. So, keys to the game for you guys. I know you don't want to give away too much, but what are just some of the keys to the Friday night?
Keys to the game? I think we just need to get down the field for real. Stay consistent, get down the field. Get past their, the defense is really good. I say the number 1 defense in Southwest VA. I'm not gonna know you. And we just need to get past that and just stay consistent. Run the ball up the field.
Yeah, like what you said. Probably like getting the ball down the field and like getting our defense off the field and like keeping us more fresh.
Do you all have any superstitions or rituals or anything like that you got to make sure you do before a game? I'll give you an example. One, when I my senior year, I had to get my left ankle taped before my right ankle every game, or if it didn't go like that, we had to cut it off and start over. Little weird stuff. Do y'all have anything like that?
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Nah.
That's good. Congratulations, because that's probably better off that way.
I have another question on Friday night. So, you all played them already once this year. What are some things you can take away from that matchup?
Yeah, you go ahead. I wasn't playing that game. You can go ahead. I got hurt. I got injured.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go ahead.
I think that if we're all on the same page, we'll have a good chance of winning, and having everyone back and healthy is a greater chance.
Yeah, you had a few people out there. I know KeShawn got hurt, and you had somebody else out that game too, right?
Yeah.
I think we was up 6 starters, I think.
Yeah, we was like, yeah.
I thought there was a few.
What are some of y'all's hobbies, outside of sports? What do y'all get into? What do you like doing?
I like to play. I like to play the game sometimes. Watch TV here and there. A little bit of YouTube.
Yeah, probably play video games and probably just like go walk around or something like that.
I'll just jump into my next question then with the video games. Are y'all PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
PlayStation. PS.
You want to? I know he's going to ask him about the game.
Oh yeah,
Yes, that last night.
So your y'all's favorite game for PlayStation?
Or Warzone, Call of Duty.
NCAA.
Those are too popular answers.
Yeah. I've been trying to get Jamar to get on the NCAA bandwagon. He hadn't played a game in 15, 20 years, Jamar.
Since college, so 2008.
Yeah,
was the last time I played. I'm terrible, but I love it, and I know if I get one, it's all I'm going to do, and it's going to consume my life. So trying to hold off on getting back into it.
So I want to ask you guys, I know your season isn't over yet, and you still have a lot to look forward to, but life after high school, do you have any plans to play college ball, or is there something else on the table?
Yeah, I plan to play college football. I want to continue to play college football all 4 years. I just want to go big for real. That's my goal. I just want to go big.
Yeah, I want to play college football and probably get a degree in business or something.
Great. Do either one of you all have any offers, or how's recruiting been going so far?
I got one right now from UVA, and I got an interest from Richmond.
I don't have any offers.
Well, I think when all's said and done, I feel like both of y'all probably have some. And Wise is hot on the trail in this area, man. Think about half the people we have on here. They seem to have an offer from Wise right now, so they're trying to build something.
Yes.
We got Thanksgiving's coming up. If you could only pick one, you want ham or turkey?
Turkey.
Turkey.
Okay, and pick 3 sides if you can only have 3.
Mac and cheese, green beans, and mashed potatoes.
Probably baked mac and cheese, mashed potato, and probably rolls.
Mac and cheese has been unanimous, across the board. I think everybody's at least said that. So it's pretty common. That's all I got. I'm gonna throw it back to Cam. He can finish it up. But from my end, I appreciate y'all's time coming on.
Yes,
looking forward to this game Friday. It's a big one. I think I wouldn't be surprised a bit to see y'all playing next week. I think y'all got a lot of momentum going right now, and I think it's going to be a great game. Wish y'all the best of luck, and again, we appreciate it. But I'll let Cam get his final few questions in.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Jamar said. We appreciate y'all coming on. We did our predictions last week, and I had you all going to the state championship. I think this game Friday night is probably the best game in Southwest Virginia. This game right here be a big one. But our last question, we always end our interviews off with this, and it's what's your biggest motivation you have when you got there?
Knowing that I really do this for my pops. Knowing I really do this for my pops, that's really my motivation.
My motivation is probably my girlfriend. Just going out there, having her in the stands.
That's great answers, guys. And go ahead, Mar. Sorry.
I'll just say his man's gonna get a lot of brownie points for that answer right there. That's a good.
Yeah, guys. Great interview, and like I said, I appreciate both of y'all coming on. And
Yes, sir.
Good luck Friday.
Thank you.
Blackberry Winter partners with just about every agency that helps people in Southwest Virginia. We work with Child Protective Services, Appalachian Agency on Aging. We help the veterans. Anyone can get help from Blackberry Winter. They just can't ask for it for themselves. They have to have someone to help us help them. Someone that's not in crisis that can provide, trucks and people to come and pick up the furniture that's donated and that we are given to them. So that generally comes through a social service program, but not always. Sometimes it's family members or friends who are trying to help one of their loved ones that is going through a cold snap in life.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Eastside's Luke Trent and head coach Mike Rhodes. How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing great.
For those that didn't watch the high school football preview that we had this year, we had Coach Rhodes on it. It was a great episode. So when we do this episode, we'll direct this to each one of them individually, and we'll try to name drop them beforehand for the people that are listening. But for Coach Rhodes, we're going to kind of go more on the season and then the upcoming matchup, stuff like that. And now with Luke, we're going to go on his whole life here and childhood starting out and then work our way through. So, Luke, we'll go ahead and start with the first question. And that's, when did you first fall in love with the sport? And do you have any athletes you looked up to? And that could be local high school players or professional.
I've loved the sport ever since I was little, but like it started getting serious like last year after like hitting my 1,000-yard receiving and like all that and stuff. But like people I looked up to was like Bo Jackson, like Barry Sanders and all them. But like I never really looked up to any receivers because like I was on a receiver last year. So
some great ones to look up to for sure. Now, we'll go ahead and start with this. Talk about the season a little bit. It's not been any downs really. It's been mostly ups.
yeah,
Minus that one game, but that was a big one. And this go to both of you guys. We'll start with Luke first, but just how much you think you guys have grown, from the first game on up through where you're at now.
With Hayden getting hurt, Lane Pinelli's really stepped up as a quarterback and as a freshman, but we've came together and we've put on a show and. It's been a fun ride.
Do you, Coach Rhodes, on that? Just how much do you think you guys have grown?
Same thing. It's been a really good ride, but the thing that it's always impressed me about this group is their cohesiveness and their chemistry. And Peyton did go down, and they rallied right behind Landon and got him some confidence and built him up, and to where he was able to come in and not feel all the pressure. And they took that off of him there in the beginning until he got that experience, and now, we're running with it. But that's the big thing. And, I think as you see from the beginning of the year, we've cleaned up some things consistency-wise, playing more as a unit, and we cut down on some of the penalties and turnovers and things like that. I think that's been the biggest thing. But, I would put it to their team chemistry and their cohesiveness.
Yeah, and, just talking, I guess, specifically about some games, it was nice for y'all to get that win against Wise. Started out the year, and then as you're going through the season, we have to bring up the Rye Cove game. I know it didn't go the way y'all wanted, and I think that score was definitely not indicative of how close that game was. So just that game in particular, because you all might see them next week. I know you want to take care of Friday night's business first, but. How much, what did y'all learn from that game going against, that level of competition? Luke, sorry.
I don't really remember much from that game. That was devastating, but, I think if we play them again, it's going to be an even better matchup because, we've grown a lot ever since that game. We've come together as a team, and I think it's going to be a different outcome if we play them again.
From the coaching aspect, for 41 minutes, we were right there with them. And, a play or two here or there. I think it was 16-8 with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And then we're a team that drives the football. We're not usually a one-play score type of team, and we're usually a 5 to 7 minute drive. So, we had a decision to make. Do we start trying to make some bigger plays? And it's kind of like, I was talking to somebody else. I think Coach Dameron asked actually, and it's kind of like in basketball when you're shooting threes to try to catch up. It's either going to go really good or it's going to go really bad. And, we started trying to throw the ball a little bit more than we normally do. And we had the receivers open, but, we got some pressure on Landon there. And that was the first game we really asked him to throw the ball a lot. With the pressure that they put on us, it kind of snowballed on us. But I was proud of the effort and the way they fought all the way to the end, even though it did kind of get away from us there. But I think that's something that we took from it, and we've tried to really work on our passing game these last 4 or 5 weeks, and get that in case we need it here in these playoffs. But they're a great football team. They got some good football players. They're well coached, and we do hope to see them again. But there's a lot of football to be played before that can happen.
This question is be for both of you. You can kind of answer from coach's perspective and the player's perspective. But the community over there, Eastside, from y'all's perspective, to kind of speak on that, what it's meant to you all, just playing there for Eastside. And are there any unique traditions or rituals that is like unique to Eastside that y'all's program does, pregame or anything like cool like that? Landon, Luke, you can go first.
I don't really know any traditions. I don't know. I'm stumped on that one.
The only thing I think is we come down the steps pregame. That's one thing.
Yeah.
We walk down the steps through the crowd. That's the only thing that really jumps out at me. I don't know, Luke, if that triggered anything else for you, but that's really the only thing that jumps out at me.
I was thinking, was it Keldon, J-Moore? I think mentioned the painting of the logo.
Yeah.
The seniors do that.
Oh yeah, we do it. We do it our last home game, but
I forgot about that. Honestly,
yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up.
The seniors, the last home game, they always paint the logo for the last home game. It's kind of the rite of passage, I guess.
Yeah. Well, besides the tradition thing, just that community, the support y'all get from, like I said, from a player's perspective. Luke, you can answer, and then Coach, from your perspective, go ahead, Luke.
Our community, like, they're amazing. Like, every single Thursday they feed us, and it's always good food, and we always get fed right before the game. And like after the games, we always get this bag full of like good stuff in it, and it's just something to help us out and give us something good to eat after the game.
I've spoke many times about this community. I'm not originally from Coburn, but they've opened me with open arms, and the fact of you don't see the support that they give in some places. I mean, anything and everything these boys want, the team needs, whether it's football, band, basketball. I mean, this community is unmatched. I mean, their support for everybody in it, and the way they get behind everything. There's not enough words to say of how supportive and how appreciative we are of them. But they are absolutely amazing.
There's been multiple score records that you all have broke this year, and I think one of them, I may be wrong, but I know y'all have had a lot of shutouts this year, and so I want to give both of you a chance just to talk on your defense and how much you guys, or what's the mindset going into Friday night, and how well do you think y'all have played this year on that side of the ball? So.
We got a bunch of tough linebackers, Keldon Hamilton and like Braxton Freeman, Dalton Yates, and Noah Hamilton. Like they're crazy. Like they're really good at what they do. But this week we just got to shut down their best lineman, Tyler Barrett, and we just got to shut down their run defense or their run game and see what we can do from there.
The fact that we play a 10-game season and 5 of them were shutouts. That's pretty impressive. I think that says a lot about the defense. If you go back to the Hurley game, they scored late against our young guys, and they had a fumble recovery. It could have been just as easily 6 shutouts. And there's another game or two to where we just gave up 1 touchdown. So it could have been as much as 7. But we knew coming back with everybody we had coming back that defense was going to be where we hang our hat. And the thing that impresses me is it's a team defense. Last year, we had the balance of tackles per player wasn't evened out. This year, we've got 5 or 6 guys at 40, 50 tackles. Keldon just broke 100. We got another, he mentioned Freeman at 70-something tackles. And the key was, we get to the football really good. Anytime you watch us, there's 10 or 11 hats at the football. So we're rallying to the football. And I think thing the thing we do is we always try to stop the run first, which, we got our work cut out for us this week with their line and their stable of running backs. But we try to stop the run, and teams think they can pass it on us. But I think we've only given up maybe 3 passing touchdowns all year. And, Luke's one of those DBs that once they can't run the ball on us, they try to throw it. But the guys on the back end are shutting it down, and the guys on the front, they're get some good pass rush to help them out. But, Luke, Chase, he mentioned Dalton Yates, Gabe Raymond, they've been locked down too in pass coverage. And when you're playing at all 3 levels like that, it's special. As a defensive guy, it's fun to be a part of it. And Coach Blevins has them in the right positions. He's done a great job with that defense, and they're all bought in. And I think that's really key to the defense is when they're all bought in and they're all flying to the football, it's fun to be a part of.
I'm gonna kind of change it up a little bit. Cameron will probably come back to more of the football stuff. This is it to get to know y'all a little bit. Music wise, what do y'all like listening to? Who's some of your favorite artists? And if you, the second part of this question is, if you were in a UFC fight this weekend coming up, what would be your walkout song?
I'm a big Rye Green fan. I'm a really Rye Green fan, country and a little bit rap during game days, but I don't know about the walkout song. I can't think of one off the top of my mind. I don't know.
Yeah, when I come up with this idea, I didn't know. I never would have thought it would like stump so many people because people really have a hard time coming up with it right off the cuff like that. Because I think it's so like it's not just your favorite song. It has to mean to mean something. It's been a tough question, but if you think of one, you come back and let us know. But go ahead, Coach.
I'm glad I got to go second. I got to ponder that for a minute. I'm with Luke. I listen to a lot of country. I'm still, I grew up in the 90s. I'm a big 90s rap guy. I don't know much about the new school stuff that Luke and them play in the locker rooms in the weight room, but I'm a 90s rap and now a country guy. And if I had to pick one, I think I'm going with Many Man by
I was gonna say that Blue Room. I was
See,
gonna say
great
that.
choice.
great minds.
Yeah, I'm more of the 90s, late 2000s if it comes to rap and stuff. I felt bad because the guys from Virginia High, KeShawn and Alijah, I had no idea who the guys their 2 favorite. I had no idea who they were, and
Right.
I felt old. I'm like, I have no idea who they're talking about. But I'm more of the old school rap, So, yeah. But I'm glad you like on board with that. Also, that makes me feel not as old.
Now look at them keep me young, with playing all that stuff. I know a little bit of it just through all of them, but and then I got a 14-year-old, so he follows their suit. He listens to whatever they're listening to, but it's not 90s rap.
Like Jim Moore said, I want to kick it back over to the football side of things. Talk about your roster a little bit. So, Luke, I'm going to give you this opportunity to kind of shout out some of your teammates, and then Coach Rhodes, whenever it gets to you, I want you to kind of highlight somebody, or it could be multiple people on the team that has really impressed you this year, but that hasn't really got like the spotlight that maybe they should have.
I mean, I'd probably say Landon Pennell, just that he's a freshman and he's stepped up as a quarterback. Quarterback's probably one of the hardest positions on the field to play and to understand, But him coming up as a freshman and doing all the stuff that he's done, like all the passing touchdowns and all the runs that he made, made stuff happen for us. And I just think that's probably the person I'd highlight. Probably. Yeah.
That that's a good one. I'm gonna go. He mentioned earlier Braxton Freeman. He's been lights out on defense at outside linebacker. He's about 155, 160 pounds. But he'll throw that body around. He's not scared to hit you. Another one is our safety, Chase Williams. He's not, I don't know, Luke, what you say, 115, 120 maybe?
Yeah, probably not that.
But and he's the same boat. He's great in coverage, and he'll fill that alley and hit you. He's gonna talk a lot, but he'll come up and hit you. And then offensively, I think Landry Carrico up front, Tristan Fields the other guard. They've done a great job. Yasir Hilton starting this year at tackle. He's really came on. He was green when we first played Central. He had never really played line, and he's worked himself into where he's a really good left tackle for us. And one other, we got a freshman kid, Rocky Bond. He's made some really electric plays on offense and helped us. In the Central game, we went to him and Luke in the backfield, and they kind of kept us in that game. And defensively, I think he's second on our team with 7 sacks. And, so those are some guys that don't get a lot of the publicity, but are doing a lot of things behind the scenes.
This is for both of you. Coach, you can go with current before, like, while you're coaching, or you can go back to your playing days. But do you have any superstitions or rituals or anything like that before a game? And I always, like, for example, my senior year when I got my ankles taped, I had to get my left one taped before I did my right one every game, or it was just one of those weird things. I had to do it. Y'all got anything like that?
Go ahead, Luke.
I mean, I'm gonna go with Coach Baber. He's taped my ankles ever since I was a freshman, and he's always taped my right ankle first. But at Rye Cove, he taped my left one first. And I'm gonna say that's why we lost. But
Blame Coach Baber.
I'm gonna blame Coach Baber on that. But I always had my right ankle taped first by Coach Baber, and I always tape my fingers for the game, and I always write something on them. So if I don't do that, I ain't feeling right.
I don't have anything like that. Obviously, I don't need much tape coaching, but before every game, when we get in there in the office, and we're just kind of the coaches in there, I always have a yellow Gatorade and Chewy Sweet Tarts. A pack of Chewy Sweet Tarts. That's kind of my little go-to routine.
Well, was that last week, Cam? Play with the pants.
Yeah, it was. Coach Lowe last week.
Yeah,
said that,
Coach Lowe. Yeah,
he had the same pants on, I think, for multiple weeks.
Yeah, he
because,
had washed,
they were on that win streak.
So that was.
Yeah.
Now, like, I wear the same hat, things like that, but clothes, I change the different clothes.
Yeah, I think he said he didn't even wash it. He didn't wash it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I want to go to the coaching side of things. This one's just more directed at Luke. We'll give you a chance to talk about your coach there and even the supporting cast that he has. You don't have to blow his head up too big while we're on air, but you just talk about Coach Rhodes and then also the other coaches.
Coach Rhodes, he's always been there, for me and the team, always been there to pick us up. But freshman year, I remember this one play at Holston. It was a punt fake or something like that. And I ran it, and I thought I was going to get killed by a linebacker. And I dropped the ball, and he chewed my hind end out. But ever since that, I still respect him at the end of the day. But, they've always helped us out. And, Coach Davis coming in, our sophomore or junior year, yeah, he's helped me out a lot. And, he's built my confidence up with the receiver, throwing me the ball and, trusting me to go up and get it. So I just want to point at them too.
Go ahead, Cam. You have one?
Yeah, I was just going to also ask him real quick. Luke, at this point, everybody knows who you are. I think you're a focal point for the defenses to watch now. You've had some really big games this year. So I want to ask you kind of like what your mindset is on Friday nights. And then for Coach Rhodes, more specifically to Luke, what has Luke meant to you guys?
Talking first?
Yeah, sorry. I'll let you go first there.
My mindset is just like, every time I line up at receiver, I just want to tell myself that this person in front of me cannot guard me. They're not as good as me. That's kind of my mentality going into the game. And if I have the mentality, nobody's going to stop me.
Listen, I can't say enough things about Luke. He came out, kind of had his breakout sophomore year when we were going through all that 1-9 season, and I remember Honecker. He had a really big game. And we kind of got to see some glimpses of what he was going to be, and from there he's just grown, and we're a really run heavy team. But like I said, he had his breakout game at Honecker, and then from there he's grown into an exceptional player, and we are a run first team, and Luke's a part of that. We like to pound the ball between the tackles, and then we hit Luke on those outside runs with his speed, and it's just a dangerous combination. But, we've asked Luke to run the ball between the tackles sometimes, and he can do that too. But he's a nightmare one-on-one. And you have to decide, schematically wise, if you're going to double team Luke and take one out of the box and let us run the fullback and Kel, or you're going to single him and add another one to the box. And if you single Luke, we like our chances. He's going to win that battle the majority of the time. And for him to be as versatile as he is, I mean, he can run the football, he can catch the football, and he can throw the football. A lot of people don't know that, but there's a couple things we got in the package where he can throw the football. But even defensively, I think he's got 2 or 3. I think he got a third pick the other night. And he's just a tremendous football player. But the one thing about Luke is he's an even better kid. He really is. He's responsible. He's mature. He's a leader. He does things the right way. Great teammate. People could very easily be upset. Kelton gets about 18 to 20 carries a game. We try to get the ball in Luke's hands 8 to 12, but that kind of mix works for us. But if you watch, if Luke scores, Kelton's usually the first one to congratulate him. If Kelton scores, Luke's busting his hump down there, and he's one of the first ones to congratulate Kelton. And I think that speaks to him and what kind of character he has and what kind of teammate he is. And it's been a true honor to get to coach him for 4 years. And I don't want this ride to end because I don't want to say goodbye to this group of seniors, but Luke's a special player, but an even more special young man.
Both great answers. Outside of football, what are some of y'all's, Coach, you can answer this too, some hobbies you got? What do you like doing outside of sports?
Deer hunting and fishing.
Great
All I
answer.
like to do.
Great answer.
I ain't killed nothing yet though.
Well, you've been a little busy.
That's right. Been focused more on football.
Coach's fault. He's kept him out there too late. He can't get in the woods. I got a 14-year-old and a 4-year-old. That pretty much, if I'm home, that occupies my time. And it's fun to be around them and just get to play with them. And I walk through the door every night. My 4-year-old like, Daddy, fight. He wants to go wrestle. So that pretty much occupies all my time once I get home. But especially during the season.
I got a little 3-year-old, and so he knows how to fight too. Or so I completely understand where you're coming from there. So let's go ahead and get into Friday night's matchup because that's the big game this week for you guys. I think Patrick Henry is very solid team. I think that they're getting healthy at the right point, and they had that big win last week. So me and Shaiem were talking about just before you all got on. This is going to be a very physical game Friday. And I'm very interested in seeing just, y'all's defense versus that running offense. I think Coach Padgett does a good job over there as well. So just, both of you, I know you don't want to give away too much, but just some of the keys to the game. I'll send it to you first, Luke.
Looking off the scrimmage earlier in the year, we fought with them. They were physical, and I'm gonna give it to them. They hit pretty hard, but I think with their run offense and their throwing offense, I don't know. I don't know. I think we're gonna beat them. It's gonna be a tough matchup, though.
Yeah, I agree. They're extremely physical. They're big up front on both sides of the football. They get after it. Coach Patrick does a really good job with that offense. We're kind of mirror images. We both want to run the football. I think we do throw it a little bit more than they do, but up front, they obviously got the Barrett kid, but they got several other linemen that are skilled and big and physical, and they're similar to us. We have Luke and Dayton and Kelton and Rocky in the backfield. They got a stable of running backs too. They got the Stewart kid, the quarterback runs the ball well, and they got the other running back Jenkins. I couldn't think of his name for a second, but Jenkins. I think he's over 1,000 yards. So I think everybody kind of wrote them off in the middle of the season there, not realizing that they were so banged up. I think they had 4 or 5 starters out for a good stretch in the middle of the season. But preseason they were picked to be one of the best teams in the region, and that's why we wanted to scrimmage them. And I think they're proving that this part in the playoffs that they are one of the best teams in the region. and it's going to be an absolute dogfight. And but at this point in the playoffs, they're all going to be that way. So I know they'll be prepared. We'll be prepared. Their kids will be ready. Our kids will be ready, and it's going to be a fun one to watch.
I got just a couple more little things here. Then we'll get back to Cam. Are y'all PlayStation guys or Xbox?
I'm a PlayStation guy.
PlayStation.
Okay.
I just got a PS5.
Favorite game?
The Hunter Call the Wild. I love that game.
I'm gonna go NCAA. That's the one right now.
Okay.
They brought that back out. That's the one I've been playing. Me and my son, we played the WWE games together a lot. But I love that NCAA. It brings me back to childhood.
This is my last one. We got Thanksgiving coming up next week. If you could only choose one, would you go ham or turkey?
I'm going ham. Turkey's a little bit too dry.
You're not cooking it right.
I ain't the one cooking it.
I know. I'll just aggravate. Now I'm gonna go turkey. I'm more of a ham for Christmas kind of guy.
Okay.
I do like my ham though, but I'm gonna go turkey for Thanksgiving.
And you only get to choose 3 sides. What are they?
Mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, and probably stuffing.
That's three good ones. I'm gonna go stuffing. I'm gonna go sweet potatoes or yams. The third one. Sweet. I have to go mashed potatoes with it. I think that's the 3.
Okay.
It's 2 potatoes, but
nothing wrong with that. That's all I've got, fellas. I'm gonna throw it back to Cam here in just a second, let him finish it out. But just want to tell y'all I appreciate it coming on. Give us your time in a busy week. Prep for a huge game Friday night.
Yes, sir.
I think this, especially in 1A, I wouldn't be surprised with any result from these 2 games. I think it's basically a coin toss, either one. We got 4 great teams. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they play out. And if you all are victorious Friday night, wish you the best. Wish you luck in the next week. And looking forward to it. But I'll throw it back to Cam. But we appreciate you.
I appreciate that.
thank you.
Yeah, I got 2. The first one, just for Luke, and just life after high school. Do you have plans as far as like play college ball, or is there something else on the table?
That's my plan. I want to go play college football somewhere, but like while I'm doing that, I want to get a degree in like somewhere in the medical field. I want to be a PA, but either PA or chiropractor. That's all I want to do.
Great. And before I'll ask this last question, and I'm kind of going to frame it 2 different ways, so that way I also got one for you, Coach Rhodes. But before I say that, I just want to echo kind of what Jay Moore said. Thank y'all for coming on. Second time for you, Coach Rhodes, and we're very appreciative that you wanted to come back. And thank you, Luke, for coming on. I think that, like Jay Moore said, this game Friday night, it's going to be a great one. And every one of them Friday night, I think it's going to be great. But we haven't decided yet. Even before y'all got on, we're going back and forth whether or not we go over there, we go over to Rye Cove. We're still up in the air what we might do. And which if it snows, I think that's going to be an easy answer, because I don't know that I want to take those roads over to Rye Cove. But anyway, Luke, this final question, what's your biggest motivation that you play with? And then Coach Rhodes, when it gets to you, just your final message to your team before Friday.
I would probably say my Nana. She passed away last year. She was always a big part of my life, and I've just been playing for her. And also my papaw, like I never got to speak to him, but people always tell me the stories that he always loved me. He always wanted to see me grow and play football and all that. But that's who I play for. I always put something on my finger about like a Bible verse or something like that, just reminded me who I'm playing for and what I'm playing for. That's really what I got.
As for a message for my team, it's kind of 2 messages. For Luke and his fellow seniors, it's you don't ever want to have any regrets. And you never know when your last game's gonna come too. And so at this point in time, you've got to play every single game, every single rep, like it could be your last. And to the rest of the team, it's just execute, because you never know when you'll be back in this moment, so enjoy it. But we'll never be this team again after this year. It'll never be the same. It'll be different pieces, and there'll only be one for this season. So enjoy every moment. We break it down on family every day, and I talked to you all earlier about how close this group is, and just enjoy that togetherness and that bond, because these are the times they're going to look back on. When they get our age, they're not going to remember the scores. They're going to remember the bus rides, the locker rooms, the games like Friday night in 20-degree weather. They're going to remember that kind of stuff, and that's what's important when you get our age. And those bonds and those memories never leave you. So make as many of them as you can, and have no regrets.
Good answers, guys, and a great interview. Yeah, I think Jamar probably agrees. We appreciate you both coming on. I was really excited. I missed out on the other player interviews with the Eastside players. I had a family emergency, so I'm glad I got to talk to you, Luke, and glad I got to talk to you again, Coach Rhodes. So, yeah, thank you both for coming on.
Appreciate having us.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we know y'all take your time out of your day and money out of y'all for y'all's resources to do these things. And you look at all this that going on in high school sports, and for you all to put these kids and get them this kind of publicity and recognition, I know they all enjoy it. They listen to you all, and we really appreciate it as coaches, because, they get to get their names out, and they get to talk in front of people and do things that they ordinarily wouldn't get to do. So for you all to do what y'all do on your own time and your own resources, we're greatly appreciative.
I enjoy talking to them. I'm trying to stay young, so it helps me,
That's what I told you. That music in the locker room keeps me younger.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it. Yeah, we're gonna have to look up some of this music they keep shouting out. So
be careful.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to listen to it by myself, away from the kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Thank you, guys.
All
right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Blackberry Winter doesn't step in when someone needs just one or two things. I did when I first started this, but there wasn't enough donations to maintain that, and it would end up that people who had nothing, I wouldn't have enough furniture to give them. So we don't help when people just need a living room suite or a bedroom suite, or it's when people are starting over from nothing. With the recent hurricane and floods, we've had almost double the request. People have lost their homes to water damage and trees and things. We also help people when their houses is burnt, or if they've been sick and they've lost their home because of illness. People have been imprisoned. We work with the Department of Corrections, and when the parole officers feel like they are doing well and need a hand up, they'll come and get the furniture for them and take it to them. We furnish all the homes for all the women coming out of the domestic violence shelter. I realized after I started Blackberry Winter that women don't go in the shelter if they have anyone to help them. So they are alone, and they go into the shelter with nothing but the clothes on their back. So when they come out, they have nothing. So it is so important, the work that we do there. I realized when we went in the first home, a lady out of the domestic violence shelter, and she had 2 little girls, and the lady worked 2 fast food restaurants, and they had nothing in their home. Nothing. Not a blanket, not a pillow, not a spoon. And I had the realization that, how long would it take her to get those little girls a bed? Would she ever be able to have enough extra money to afford a bed for them? And that just really put a fire in me that children deserve a bed, and parents who are doing their very best sometimes can't provide it. So that is one of the big things that Blackberry Winter does.
All right, guys. We're here with Grundy's Luke Shelton and Shaiem Gordon. How you guys doing?
I'm
Pretty
doing
good.
good.
Yeah, Shaiem.
I'm doing pretty good.
Guys, we're going to kind of start this off with a little bit of information about your childhood and when you fell in love with the sport. Um, Luke, we'll shoot to you first, and then we'll go to you, Shaiem, after that. Yeah, like I said, Luke, just when you fell in love with the sport, and then if you had any athletes you looked up to, and that could be local or professional.
I started playing when I was in third grade. Started really falling in love with sport about fifth grade. And person I looked up to most was probably my dad. He played sports all through college. And I just strived to be like him, better than him.
You there, Shaiem?
I started playing late. Well, I played my 8th grade year. I only played one game. Then I started my sophomore year again. I didn't make it pretty far into the season. I actually ended up quitting. So my first full season was my junior year. And then I started falling in love with it once I got some reps at running back. And then I was like, man, I actually really like this.
Definitely, it definitely changes things whenever you're able to get your hands on the ball and do some stuff like that. Go ahead, Mar.
Just growing up, did y'all play any other sports? I know Shane probably wrestled. Anything else? Any other sports at all?
I just wrestled. I played baseball for a little bit. Didn't stick with that. Mostly just wrestled and football. Played soccer in first grade.
Are y'all playing any other sports now? Both of y'all wrestling now, or?
Yes, sir. Just focusing on wrestling and football now. Yeah. I shoot over after wrestling season and do some track.
I know that I know Shaiem. I know you won some state titles. I know you did a wrestle, Luke. Have you got a state ring yet? You still working towards it?
Finally got one this year.
Awesome!
Finally got it.
Congratulations to both of y'all. That's a huge honor, and definitely I think something that Grundy is well known for is that wrestling program. So you get to kind of etch your name into the history books there. Just kind of back on the football side of things, going into this offseason or in this offseason going into this year, what's some things that you guys did to kind of separate yourself and improve your game? I'll send it to you first, Luke.
I think it's just summer workouts, getting there early, 8, if not earlier sometimes, stay until 3 in the day, just working out, working on the field, weightlifting, footwork. Just the atmosphere is just really to get you better. The goal is to get you better down there.
Shame.
I think it was really the two-a-days that started really pushing me and kind of got me where I was. Like in the off season, when we started doing our two-a-days, it was not fun. We had to run the hill, and we had to go up on our mountain. But that like Quake said, it's to get you better. So like once you push through it and you get done and you come off the mountain, you get to take your pads off. It's like a sign of relief. Like, okay, I'm just a little bit better today.
I've heard Luke mention your nickname being called Quake. I've heard people call you Flash Gordon. Were those names? I guess each of you can answer this. Were those names that were given to you by teammates, or was it somebody else, like family or something, that kind of dubbed those names for y'all?
I got my nickname when I first started playing football because my dad's nickname was Quake, so they just knew me as Lil Quake. It just kind of stuck all the way through. They started calling me Flash, I think my sophomore year or something. It was just a little something that they put in Chad Cooper put it in the paper, and he called me Flash. And I asked him, like, why'd you call me that? And he was like, you're just so quick. And I was like, all right. And it stuck, and I love it now.
Y'all more.
Any kind of, Grundy's got a rich history of football, obviously, known for wrestling, but football, at least back to the 90s, and maybe probably farther than that, but the 90s for sure, a lot of great teams, and then up in the 2000s, and then here recently, the last several years, that community down there, obviously very supportive, just from your all's perspective of growing up there, and playing, coming up, and just what are your all's thoughts, and what's it mean to you all to play in that program?
I think it means a lot. It's just a small town, everybody down there is just so close. You see people you know everywhere. And you know everybody. So everybody's supporting you. Everybody's friends. It's just
Everybody's real close down there.
Like he said, like, you know, we're being such a small community. I think that's why, it pushes us, you know, because you know everybody. You know, you go to the gas station or you go anywhere, and it's, oh, hey, I seen this, or oh, hey, congratulations on that. And it's just not one person; it's a bunch of people. Everybody knows us and they love us, and like that pushes me, and I love it so much. And I feel like it helps all the other athletes and everybody because it's motivating. You know, everybody knowing you, like that's a big thing, and we're young, so that I think that's pretty cool. You know, like everybody knowing us, I love it.
Y'all got a great fan base over there and a great community to rally around you all, and especially in, you know, like I said, you both wrestle, so y'all know how that is too. They're heavy into that with the support. But yeah, I want to talk about the coaching staff a little bit. Give you both an opportunity. Luke, I'll shoot to you first. Talk about Coach Bartley, and then not only that, but just the supporting cast around him. And same question for you, Shaiem, after Luke.
Yeah, Coach Bartley, he's been there for a good while now. He's a good guy. He's funny. He's laid back when he needs to be, but he's tough on you when he also needs to be. And he's not gonna be too tough on you. He shows you some tough love, but then he'll give you a pat on the back when you do it right. And our offensive coordinator, Coach Bostic, or Coach B as we call him, he's a good guy, down to earth, and he don't get mad at much. He's usually looking out for his playmakers, trying to get them the right plays. And our defensive coordinator, Jake Stacy, he's kind of our old school coach. He's gonna chill you out if you make one mistake, gonna give you a good chewing, but then he'll tell you did a good job. He's our hype man too. If we get a big defensive stop, he's gonna be jumping up and down. And our offensive line coaches, Brian and Albert, two big tall bald guys. Two tall bald guys. You can't miss them on the sidelines. And they're always out there asking us what's going on out there, how they're lining up, telling us we're doing good, just to keep moving those chains.
Coach Bartley was my freshman math teacher, so we had kind of already had a bond. And when he got the head coach job, I was just ecstatic. So I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And he's always been around, and he's there. Like Quake said, he'll show you a little tough love, but it's a pat on the back and it's a good job. And he's always there to motivate us and to say things that keep our heads up. And, you know, he's a great guy. Like Coach Bartley is the definition, I feel like, of a good guy. I don't think he does no wrong. He's funny. He's great, you know, so I love him. He's great. And then Coach Bostic, he's the maker of men. He makes men. He pushes you in the right direction. He tells you the right things. Whatever you need, you go to Coach Bostic, and he'll tell you what to do. And he'll say, "Hey, if you need me, call me. If you need me, come talk to me." And he's always there. And now Jay, he's tough. He'll get going, and he don't hold back. I remember, I can't remember what game we were playing, but something happened, and I was fuming. And he looks at me and he goes, "You know, I have to be harder on you than the rest of them." And I went, "Why?" He said, "Because I know it pushes you." He said, "It might make you mad." He's like, "But you went out there and made a stop after I did that." He was like, "That's why I do it." He's like, "I have to push you." And that's Jake. He doesn't care what he says to you. And that's why I'm laughing. And when Blake brought it up, that's why I started giggling. I can't help but when talk about Jake laugh, because when he gets going, he gets going. And our line coaches, I'm not a lineman. I'm a defensive lineman sometimes, but I'm not an offensive lineman, so I'm not, you know, around them as much as the other guys are, but they're great. Two big bald guys, you know, you can't miss them, and they're awesome. And he actually forgot about one. It's Coach Harden, is our special teams coach. All I can just say about Coach Harden is he's a character. He's a character.
I think we should start we have a good premise for at least a title for a new TV show. That two big bald guys. I think we're on to something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think Coach Harden. I think he played. He might be able to correct me. I think he may have played right after I graduated. I think, but he was a very solid ball player, very quick. So yeah, he's definitely a great one there to help y'all as well. So I want to talk about the roster around you a little bit. Give you both an opportunity to just shout out some of your teammates.
I'd probably shout out Lucas Band. He's probably made the biggest jump I've seen in a football player in a while from last year. I remember because his biggest thing was his mindset. He used to be okay with not being good, okay being second to anybody. He's like, I'm sorry, I suck. But I told him one day, I was like, Bandy, you gotta get out of the mindset. You gotta figure it out. You gotta be top. You can't be second place the rest of your life. And he's one of our better linemen this year. I'd say he's probably most improved player overall. Human, just mental game too. And give a shout out to probably Carson Deal. Carson Deal is probably the most well-rounded defensive player we have. He's a secure tackler. When we need a tackle, we send Carson Deal out that way.
My shout out probably have to go to Aiden Baker. He's young, but when that kid grows up, he's going to be a stud. Let's see. There's so many names coming to my head. Somebody, I think people overlook him a little bit, because, we're more of a running team. But Garen Markham, he's quiet. I mean, coach overlooks him. We had to go before the Honecker game. It was pouring the rain bad, and we had to go upstairs, and Jake was going over some defensive schemes, and every time he'd look for Garen, where you at? Right in front of him. Garen, where you at? He was right there. Quiet, very, very humble. But he's been making some noise on defense, and he makes a couple catches out there on offense, and I think that he's one of the guys that gets overlooked a little bit that I think shouldn't. And I want one more. He got Bandy. I was gonna say Bandy. He's most improved, and he's a great guy. And Lucas Boyd, I do want to say Lucas Boyd. He's battled some injuries, been tough, but he's stuck through it. Moved him from center to tackle. He's had some knee issues, but he stuck through it. And overall, he's been a really, really good lineman, and he's a great guy as well. I think a lot of our guys are really just good guys, and that's what I love about our team.
Do you all have any weird, like, they don't have to be weird, but just any kind of superstitions or rituals that you have to do before a game? Every time. I've been using this as an example. When I was a senior, I had to get my left ankle taped before my right ankle, like every time. Anything like that y'all have?
I usually go walk the field no matter where we're playing at. Then I go get my ankles taped, my wrist taped. And I put my pants on first. Then I walk around a little bit with my headphones on, with my football pants on. Just walk around, chill out. And then I'll throw the shoulder pads on, then the jersey. And then I'm ready to go. And then I'll usually get a text from my dad, tell him, send him in my keys what to do.
Mine always starts actually the day before. So Thursday on walkthrough day, we go through our walkthrough, we do our thing. Then we send out senior linemen, and then we get another senior. We throw him a ball. Lucas Bandy, I don't think he's ever caught one, but, we throw it to him every time. And then, we get to game day. I always like to take a little pregame nap on the bus. Gets me going. I take my ibuprofen, and then I walk the field. I have to walk the field shirtless, whether it's cold, whether it's hot. Anytime I walk the field shirtless, make sure to hit the goalpost, go down, hit the other one, go in there. And then I don't really have anything specific on how I throw my stuff on or anything. But, I'll put my stuff on, and then it's barbecue chicken from there.
Great. Guys, I want to talk about the season just a little bit. It kind of started off rocky, but y'all had some pretty tough games to start off with. But as the seasons went on, I think that you all became one of the best single A teams, one of the best teams, period, around here. And I think, the results have shown that. So I just want to go to each of you and talk about how much you think you've grown as a team this year and what ways you've grown.
Yeah, I think we started off rough with some tough games. Some big schools we were played a 3A school first game of the year. It was rough. Everybody's a little out of shape for the first game of the year. But I think overall we've gotten to where we've got the mindset where we bend don't break. We don't bend don't break. Can't give up. We're never out of a game. We saw that at PH when we still lost the game, but we battled back to a 1-2 point game or something like that, 1 touchdown game. So, and we've been fighting every team. I think the only team that really beat us up pretty bad is Ridgeview, but I think every other team we've put up a good fight against them. Just a few little mistakes, few things. And here lately we started cleaning up those little mistakes. Not many turnovers, no penalties. We started tightening it up. We realized that second half of the year we got to go undefeated if we want to make the playoffs. We realized that after the Tazewell lost. We knew we had to win out. And we just had to toughen up and get our stuff together.
And it was always, at first it was the little things. And I feel like, the farther we went in the season, the more we became an actual brotherhood. We started coming in closer and getting closer, because the time we've spent together throughout practices and games and bus rides and eating together, et cetera, we're together genuinely a lot. And I feel like it was the small things, but I feel like the more we went through it, the more we started coming together and actually understanding hey, this guy's my brother. We're going on a literal battlefield together. We have to protect each other. We have to understand things. And that's what kind of pushed us. So when we started taking, that tough loss in the beginning of the season against Carroll County, that was hard. And then, came in, we're down 35-16 or something at half against Patrick Henry. Come out and put a bunch of points up. We had over 100 points combined. Then we take another tough loss to Tazewell, 1 point to a 2A team that blew us out previously. And, I think the Tazewell game opened our eyes, and it was oh, wow, we're good. I don't like saying hey, we're good. I like to just let our game talk. But when we lost by a point, we were all kind of whoa, this is an eye opener. What is this? Last year, I'm pretty sure every loss last year we took was a blowout. It was either we won by a lot or we lost by a lot. I might be wrong on that, but most of the games we lost were blowouts. Coming into this year, the losses we take to, I think, other than the Ridgeview, the Carroll County game, 5 points, that's how much we lost by the 2 games. So all that stuff has really pushed us into becoming a way better team.
I got a few questions. I'll sprinkle in here. Not really so much football related. Cameron will stay with that, but let's see. We're gonna go first. What are your top 3 favorite sports movies?
Remember the Titans is probably number 1. I love that movie. Here's the oldie, the program. The program's a good movie. The sports movies just in general is probably Miracle on Ice or The Miracle. It's a great movie. It's just a great underdog story. Watch.
You guys are putting me on the spot, because what I'm about to say is wild. I don't watch sports movies. I mean, growing up, I may have watched some Air Bud. That's childhood favorite right there.
You can,
That's a solid choice.
You can go top 3 favorite movies if you want to. You don't have to be sports.
Southpaw.
There you go.
Great movie. And my favorite, and I get a lot of flack for this on the team, I think the best football movie of all time is Varsity Blues. I can't help it. That's my number 1. I'll go Varsity Blues 10 times out of 10.
Why I want to know why you're getting flack for that, because that's, even if it's not, like, I don't know if it's my favorite or not, but it's not, like you can make an argument for that. I'm not sure why you're getting so much heat.
I don't know. I'm like, well, I brung it up one day and I was like, it's Varsity Blues. And they were like, no, it's not. And I'll die on that hill that it's Varsity Blues.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that answer. Like I said, I'd really have to think about it. It might not be my, the best, but I can see how the argument could be made. But to Luke's, the program's a great answer. That's an old one that a lot of you young ones I didn't think would really, would watch. But the program is a great movie too.
The Miracle. I think that's the first time that's been shouted out. I believe.
That's a good one.
Yes.
And Southpaw, that's the first time that one's been thrown out.
That one too.
And Airbud, he had definitely had two of the original.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Hey, just a random question: how many Airbuds did they end up making? Anybody know?
I don't know, like 5, 6.
That was my exact answer. I think it's about
they had a franchise
about 5 or 6
up for a while.
Yeah, it was. Hey, a dog playing basketball,
Oh yeah,
it's just chill.
That sells. I want to talk about y'all's game specifically a little bit. Luke, you're part of a unit that has been very physical, and I think the second half of the year had even took it up a notch. Coach Bartley said last week that you all were getting compliments from the other team's coaches talking about how physical you all are, and I mean that's throughout the whole team, not just the line, but that's where you are. So specifically, kind of focus on that. But I want to ask you, what's your mindset going into the game, and for you, Shaiem, same thing. I mean, you made a huge play last week on defense. That interception you got, me and Jamar were just kind of like, wow, because I mean, you caught it or you recognized it on the other side of the field and reacted, and that's against one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Virginia. And then that run you had, I mean, I think it was towards the end of the game, but I'm pretty sure that it was you versus about 5 defenders at one time, and you managed to score on it. So for each of you, I start with you, Luke, but just your mindset going into Friday night.
I know me personally, I think it just comes down to win every rep. Just got to win every play. Can't take a play off especially against this team. They're big and physical like us. They're big and physical. I think it's going to come down to just a little technique things. Just who can go without making any errors for me. I think it's going to be like a boxing match, just blow after blow, and whoever gives it first.
I've been thinking about the game and what my plan and kind of my idea on it going into it. And I think what Quake said is to a T. Like it's gonna be a street fight. Jimmy Griffey said that the other day, and it's gonna be a street fight. And if you lay down, it just they're not gonna lay down. I know for a fact they're not. They're 11-0, and the last thing they want to do is lose to the 5 seed. They're coming in. They're just now starting to get a rolling program. They've won out the season. They're dogs. I won't sugarcoat it. They're dogs. They're big. They're physical. They're athletes. And with every athlete that wins and wins and wins, there's an ego. And I know that theirs is up there, and they're not going to let their ego break. So they're going to come in there. They're going to punch us in the mouth. And they're going to keep going. And we have to take it. But I feel like, you see, there's two sides of the spectrum. You have the guys that are constantly winning and constantly up there, but then you got the guys that are constantly taking losses and getting beat down. So now we're winning and we're up there. Now we don't want to lose. I mean, no team wants to lose, but there comes little niches with that stuff. We were proud to make it to the playoffs last year, and then we got punched in the mouth and got blew out by Patrick Henry after we beat them. Now we're coming in here. And some people said we were going to lose to Honaker. And we give Keegan Bartley his first playoff win, and we want to win, and that's the only thing I can think of is I just want to go hit him in the mouth. I want to lay one good hit to him, let them know, hey, I'm here. And that's all I want to do. That's what I love doing. I just want to hit somebody. That's why I'm on the field. I just want to hit somebody.
Those were great answers, by the way. Okay, let's get into some music. What do y'all like listening to? Who's some of your favorite artists right now? And this could possibly be something that both of you may very well end up doing in the future because you're both great wrestlers. But if you had a UFC fight this weekend, what would your walkout song be?
Right now, I'm listening to a lot of Drake here lately. But if I had a walkout song for this weekend, probably "Rolling in the Deep" by Adele. Good song. But I think what the song I listened to it before I go out to play football. It's a good song. Just gets me going.
There's a song I had to pull it up, but it's by J. Cole. I heard it my freshman year. It stuck with me, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but perfect song, gets you going. It kind of tells a little story. It's a hard hitting song, and that would be my walkout song. I wish we'd have walkout songs for wrestling because that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
Yeah, they need to do something about that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't have Adele on the bingo card for an answer. That one kind of took me by surprise. That's a great answer.
We love Adele.
Usually we'll play softball before wrestling practice, a little game. When we play that song on the speaker right while we're playing,
it's got to come on.
Gets intense.
Oh, it gets intense. It's wild. Adele starts singing, hitting them high notes. Oh boy, we get going. Then Coach Filer come in and he kind of ruins it. And then you got to lock in.
Oh, well, guys, we kind of already touched on it a little bit about Friday night. I think that it will be a dogfight. I mean, I think it's a simple term, but it's a very accurate term for this Friday night. What you all like to do, what they like to do is pretty similar. What your strength is, what their strength is pretty similar. So it's going to be a very physical game. I mean, both games in Region 1D, both going to be very physical. But yeah, I want to kind of frame this a little bit different than I usually do. But this game Friday night and the playoffs in general, it being, we don't know what could happen next year. I hope and pray that Grundy gets back there again. But this could be, maybe the last crack at it before the consolidation. So has it kind of set in with you all that, hey, we're either way, regardless if the next team goes to the playoffs or not, we're still kind of cementing some history in here as kind of some of the final teams for Grundy. I'll send it to you first, Alijah, just kind of what that means to you.
I think I think you're right. I think our team next year will be good, but I think this year we have the perfect storm built up with athletes, chemistry with our team. I think we have a good team. I think this team has a good chance. I think if we're gonna have a good chance for while it's just Grundy, I think it's gonna be this year. Because I think that once we consolidate, it's gonna take a few years to get all the kids working together. But I think right now we're like a well-oiled machine, and I think that it means really a lot for the town too, because Grundy's never brought back a football state championship. They're just known for wrestling, and time to make it a wrestling and football town. I think bring back two sports.
That's something that I practically dream about. Being on the Grundy team that would go and bring one back. I mean, being the last guys to, put on that blue and gold. I mean, it's something that I'm sad to say that I could, maybe one day come back to the town and send my kid to put on the big G, but, sometimes you got to put old dogs down, and that's what they're doing. And, they consolidate. And I think it's good. I'm kind of jealous that I don't get to be up there, just to kind of feel it out. But bringing something back for the town this year is definitely on every one of our bucket lists. I think and it's not even we want. We need to. It's to the point where we need to do it. We need to get a win. We need to bring this home because we've made it to the state semis 4 times. we're 0-4 in the state semis. Never made it to the big stage. Took some tough losses. I mean, that team with Ian and them, when they got all the way down there and took that tough loss to Georgia with, I mean, it was like the whole town just stopped for a second. I know I don't know about, I'm speaking for myself here, but I feel like the whole town was hurt a little bit in their hearts. It was like, we thought these kids were going to go far, and there was some great talent. And I think this talent that we have and these athletes that we have, we're, like he said, we're working like a machine. Everything is perfectly in motion. If one of us fails, if one of us, can't continue, it throws everything out of whack. And we're in perfect unison right now. And I think we're just going to keep the train going and hopefully be playing in Salem.
Outside of sports, what's some of y'all's hobbies? What do y'all like to do? If you're not wrestling or playing football?
I mean, usually just hanging out in my room, watching YouTube, usually munching on some food, finding something to eat. Sometimes I play the game. I usually play some video games sometimes. Just kind of hang out when I can. Lay in the bed, lay around.
I couldn't tell you what I do in my free time. I'm so back and forth. I'm always doing something. You can count on Shaiem being busy. It's literally, where you at? I'm over here. Like today, I was at Ridgeview watching the volleyball game. I'm just doing something. I'm just a chill guy. I like to hang out. So if I'm just hanging out, or it's either hanging out or sleeping in. There's no in between.
So I want to talk a little bit about life after high school. I know y'all don't want to think about it right now, but do you have any plans to play college ball or wrestle for that matter? And if not, what do you have out there on the table that you're interested in?
Right now, I don't really know what I want to do. I think it's kind of just going seeing what I get offered for wrestling or football. Plans to be a nurse, though, but it's really wherever I can go to.
My plan is also a nurse as well. It's kind of scary for me because I don't know kind of what sport I want to do because, I'd love to do all of them, but of course that's not going to happen in college. It's just not like high school. You pick one, you stick with it. And here recently I've been loving football. I'd love to go, play some defense for somebody. I'd also love to put the singlet on. And run track. I don't know. So I'm kind of just weighing out my options and trying to figure something out, and hopefully I make the right decision come towards the end of my senior year and kind of lock something in.
This is a little bit random, but I got a couple more questions. Are y'all PlayStation or Xbox?
I'm PlayStation.
I'm both.
Wow, okay.
I got
what are your favorite game?
Oh, I like college football or Rainbow Six Siege. I love Siege.
I've been playing some Call of Duty, Black Ops 6 right now. So right now I'd say that, and I go to the Y like practically every day after school and play college football on their PlayStation. So it's probably both of those.
And this will be my last question. By the way, I'll let Cameron finish it up with the football stuff. We got Thanksgiving coming up. If you could only choose one, would you go turkey or ham?
Ham all day. I'm a ham all day.
Don't do that. Oh, don't ask that. Now it depends on what kind of turkey. Now are we saying both of these are perfect, cooked to perfection?
Your perfect taste for turkey and ham. Which one would you have? Cut one out.
Gosh. Okay. What'd you say, Quake?
I said ham. I'm a ham guy.
I gotta go turkey.
We had the ham at school lunch today. Okay. Tore that up.
I wasn't feeling it. I actually gave him mine. I wasn't feeling it. I wanted some turkey.
All right. And if you could only choose 3 sides to go with it, what are they?
Probably some mac and cheese, rolls, and probably stuffing.
Yeah, you'll never catch stuffing on my plate. I'm going deviled eggs. Yeah, it's a good one. You gotta go with the roll. You can't miss out on a roll. And then this is where I'm at a crossroad because I can either go mashed potatoes or mac and cheese. But if I'm going with the roll, then I got to go with mashed potatoes because I like scooping up the mashed potatoes with my roll.
Answers. That's all I got on my, my part of it. I'll get back to Cameron. We'll finish it up. But I just want to tell y'all, good luck this Friday. I am very much enjoyed watching y'all play this year. I've been to several games. Y'all are a fun group to watch. You really are, and I've really enjoyed it. Looking forward to seeing how Friday goes. I think I told the guys from Eastside I wouldn't be surprised a bit. You can flip a coin on either game for me. I think all four teams are that good. I wouldn't be surprised what the outcome of either one of them wouldn't surprise me. But I'm looking forward to watching, seeing how it goes. Wishing y'all best of luck, and we appreciate your time. But I'll throw it back to Cam.
And I just kind of want to echo what Jamar said. We appreciate both of you coming on. I wanted to say this, and I was going to wait until we did our picks and stuff, but I want to kind of challenge the fans for you guys. And I know that I think that there's going to be a bus, if I'm not mistaken, that's going to take some students Friday. So I think we're going to get more people to watch y'all's interview than maybe for the picks. So for the Grundy fans and students, make it a goal Friday night. Have 2 or 3 friends, each one of you. Just bring 2 or 3, and that will add up. Because I know that this is the first time, based on what we've seen from the Bristol paper, it's the first time Grundy and Rye Cove has ever played against each other. And that's if the paper was correct. And I won't sugarcoat it. That atmosphere over there is probably one of the best in Southwest Virginia. It is packed out every single game. So I really want to see Grundy, because we grew up right there. I probably grew up 10 minutes from there, and Jamar, not much further, I'm sure. So Grundy's close to her heart as well. I really want to see that side get packed out Friday night, and for this to be a truly a great atmosphere for both sides. And so this is kind of me challenging Grundy fan base. Let's bring out a crowd for these guys. But that's kind of my spill on that. But I did want to ask you both kind of the final question that we kind of ask everybody. We'll start with you, Luke. What's your biggest motivation that you have when you play?
This might sound funny, but I'm a shorter offensive lineman. I just think it's some guys that are taller than me always get more praise. That's probably my biggest motivation. It's just to prove the size. Because I'm short, don't mean I ain't good.
It's just, what motivates me every time I just step on the field is, and I'm not taking away from anybody, and this is my first time I think I've ever really said this, and this is going public, but when you look on Facebook or when you talk about the Grundy team, there's really only 2 players that get brought to mind and get talked about. That's Trey and Logan. And they're good. I'm not saying they're not. But I don't see my face up there, I don't really hear my name out there. And I got an ego. I won't lie. So not seeing my face up there, not hearing my name, it eats at the back of my brain. So every time I throw those pads on, put that helmet on, that's what I'm thinking about is I should be up there. That's just, it kind of motivates me,
It's a healthy competition thing, I think, is good. I don't think there's anything wrong with, kind of how you said that. Anybody that's playing a game, putting that much effort into it, I feel like, most people will want the same thing, want the accolades. I don't think it's being a bad teammate or anything like that. I think it's just, I think it's a healthy thing. But
I guarantee that when they drop back to pass Friday night, that they know where you're at. So if that helped you out any, and I'm sure they'll know where you are too, Luke. So yeah, it's again, guys, great interview. I really enjoyed this talking to you guys. Coach Bartley talked really high of both of you, so we were really happy to get you on. I'll send it to Jamar if he has anything else, but I did want to say we don't know yet if we're going to be there Friday night or if we're going to be at Eastside. We're still up in the air. But regardless, I think that game Friday night is going to be one of the best games in the whole state. It's going to be a very close one. And so just, take the time and enjoy it. Make the memories there.
I don't know if we'll get to talk to y'all anymore before or not, but good luck wrestling coming up. Good luck this season. I'm sure y'all's names are going to be, ones we hear a lot about. So not only, this week, good luck, but good luck for that too.
Thank you guys. And like I said, good luck Friday night.
Thank you for having us on.
It was a pleasure.
If you want to help Blackberry Winter, there are a lot of ways you can do that. When you buy a new living room suit and your old one is still in good shape, then you can donate to us. You go through our website and fill out a form. We don't have any employees, so we have no way of picking furniture up, so we need you to bring it to us in Cedar Bluff. We only take furniture that is in good condition. People that's having a hard time don't need broken down, stained, furniture that makes them feel bad about themselves. And I know used furniture, will have a little bit of this or that, but nothing that you wouldn't have in your home yourself. You could also help us through financial donations. We buy all the mattresses and beds that we give to children, and that is 90% of Blackberry Winter's budget. You can go to www.blackberrywinter.org and donate from there. We have PayPal and Venmo. PayPal has a monthly subscription, which is helps so much, even $10 a month, just to know that the money is coming in. So when we order mattresses, we can do it with more confidence that we had the money to do that. You can volunteer with us. It's also through the website, and just spreading the word and helping us help others. We always are needing pillows and blankets and silverware and things like that. So you see that stuff on clearance, buy some for Blackberry Winter. It really works so well because it's a whole lot of people that all just do what they can a little at a time, and it adds up to be a lot.
Welcome back, guys, and we're here now for our preview and picks of the round 2 of the playoffs. We're happy to have on Michael Edwards on with us. Michael is a state champion, Rye Cove softball there, state champion coach, and also a stat guy for Rye Cove. But I'm going to go ahead and let Michael kind of tell you a little bit about his background in sports, so that way y'all know him a little better.
Yeah, kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, I guess you'd say, with a long storied history at Rye Cove. Graduated there in '99, played football, basketball, baseball, track, went on to be a tackling dummy at Emory and Henry for a year or so there. Transitioned from the college game as far as trying to be becoming just a tackling dummy to officiating high school football. Done that for about 17, 18 seasons. Was fortunate enough to get to work one state title game between some local schools with Honaker and George Wyeth. Got a few other state opportunities and stuff. And as my daughters got into high school out Rye Cove also, I stepped aside from officiating, with the oldest being in the band and then cheering, and the youngest cheering now too. So I've been keeping stats for them for a few years since I took a break from officiating. And as you mentioned, coaching softball, been on the softball field a lot since 2016. So was able to accomplish a goal. As a player, we're always striving for a state title. Didn't accomplish it as a player, but we were able to make it happen this year on the softball field with both of my daughters being on the varsity team. So that's a pretty sweet moment there.
lot of hard work with him. We had some girls that put a lot of time in, worked hard, and achieved the goal. So special moment. Hopefully, we can keep building with it this coming season too.
Yeah, that moment had to be an amazing moment for you. Have both your daughters there like that. That's very special. When you were talking about the officiating for all those years, I just had a real quick random question before we get into some picks and stuff. But who was some of the best players you had seen while you were officiating?
Oh, well, bar none. I can always go back, and I was a young official at the time, but Ahmad Bradshaw, when we went up to Bluefield and had a Graham game, I mean, he was on another level than everybody else. But the second best athlete I would say I was ever on the field with as an official. Mac McClung, his 1 year doing football. It was, we being in Scott County, I generally didn't work Gate City games. A couple guys on my crew were from Gate City as well at the time, and but I would work preseason stuff for Gate City. And Mac was, it was just amazing his athleticism. I mean, he only played his sophomore year, I think it was. Of course, James Mitchell, you got to rank James up there. Austin Fuller at Richlands. Can't remember. I guess I had the late Devin Johnson as well, a time or two. Special individuals there on the field. I cannot remember the couple of names. I got to work the Blacksburg at Richlands game the year after, or maybe it was the year Blacksburg won the state title or year after. Can't remember how that worked out exactly, but the Tyree or something other, I believe, was a little flanker guy that they had for Blacksburg, and then the kid that was the running back, man, when he got an open field, they wouldn't know, when he got an open field, they wouldn't know touching him. So that's the ones I'd probably put up there that stand out the most, and rightfully so, I would think. Bradshaw was special.
Yeah,
it was just incredible.
That's a highlight reel of names you just mentioned out there.
Yeah, we got to see some good ones, especially, can't remember the names of the kid, but, went up and worked a Botetourt and Hopewell state semifinal game 1 year, and there was just athletes all over on those two teams and stuff. So, been some special stuff, been a lot of fun.
I'm sure it's came with a lot of memories, and I was at that Blacksburg Richlands game with Colton Beck, and that guy, like I said, when he got open space, he was gone.
Yeah.
Special talent. But before we get into the picture, I did want to just bring it back to the softball for a second, just say congratulations, because, like I said, it's a special moment, but it's also something that a lot of people, never touch. Like, they never get there. And so I just really wanted to tell you all the whole team and you from us, congratulations, because that's something special.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Like I said, both daughters on the team, coaching staff involving one of my best friends I played a lot of ball with growing up as the head coach, and my uncle as an assistant coach and stuff. So, a lot of special things about that moment, and just the way the whole community rallied around it, to see it fulfilled, and the return home and how we're welcomed home and everything. It's just one of those moments that'll live with you forever.
I hate to keep adding on things before we start picking, Cam, but mentioning state championships, give Ridgew's volleyball a shout out. They got a big win tonight, headed to the state championship game. I'm not sure when it'll be.
Saturday.
Do you know who they play?
I have not seen who they play yet, but that's something I was wanting to mention as well this evening.
Yeah,
so.
Big shout out to them. And we had talked about not mentioning it because I'm afraid I'll leave somebody out, but I know Shelby Stanley at Eastside won a cross country, I think, state championship. I think there's a kid from Grundy on the boys who won a cross country.
Kirsten or something, or Kirsten.
Yeah.
I think it seems like it started with a K or something I saw, but it's awesome to see two kids from Region D win it.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to all of them. I hope I didn't leave anybody out there, but just want to give all of them a shout out. We don't really cover those sports that much, but anytime you get talking about winning state, well deserving of a shout out, I feel like. So, but yeah, go ahead, Kim.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. If you hadn't watched us before, I feel like right now we probably have a lot of returning viewers, but at this portion of the episode, we'll go ahead and do our preview and picks of each game. Now, we don't have as many games now as the playoffs are starting to dwindle down, But the way we'll do it is I'll kind of introduce what game we're going to pick. I'll go ahead and give my pick, and then I'll shoot it over to Michael, and then let you kind of give your spill on it and your pick, and then Jamar will be after that. You know, I think this is going to be a very interesting conversation because, Michael, you've been reffing for a long time, so you've been around the sport and been around a lot of these schools. So I'm really interested to see the insight you have on some of them. We'll start with 3A, Region 3D, and we're going to kind of work our way down. We'll go to 2, and then we'll go to 1. We'll finish there. We got William Byrd 9-2 at Abingdon 10-1. And this is something that me and Jamar talked about before the episode. We're not very familiar with William Byrd, but I do want to just, kind of shout out Abingdon. Last week they had 52 by halftime. Playing great right now, and I hope they continue to win. This is a game that I feel like we can be a little bit biased on because, they're the one sole, AAA team out this way. So I'm going to ride with Abingdon. We had a Luke on, and we had Owen on a few weeks ago. Great kids. Seems like Coach Amberg is doing a great job there. So I'm going to have Abingdon win this one.
Yeah, I'll take Abingdon as well. Especially with the weather that we're talking about seeing. Abingdon's bread and butter is pushing people around, creating holes, and that fits right along with what we're probably going to see weather-wise to make things happen. The key additions at Abingdon that I don't think a lot of people realize is Josh Wellenhofer coming in, the offensive line coach. He'd been at Emory and Henry coaching offensive line for years, off and on there. And I was buddies with him at Emory. He knows the game and what they're doing, how they're just mauling people up front. It shows his imprint's been put on that team, it seems like. No disrespect to any other coach, because Amber's done a great job there and stuff, but it's just added to how effective they are. So I'm hoping it sets up a little opportunity for Lord Botetourt to come to Abingdon. Jamie Harless, the former Abingdon Falcon himself, come in there and coach back at his home territory there between Botetourt and Abingdon next week, but you can roll with the Falcons as well this week.
Yeah, I'll go with Abingdon. Like you said, we had some kids on there, great, and it was a great interview. Their old line is, like I said, well, even for both sides of the ball, their D line too, very significant part for them. Like they really do control the line of scrimmage, and that's the weather, like you said, rolling in, it's going to play a big factor, or possibly could. Don't know anything about William Byrd, but got to be hometown, kind of biased here in the hometown, but home region, I guess, biased and go with the Falcons.
Yeah, I think from this point forward in our picks, we could see, a lot of people going both or different ways. About every game from now on, it could be really close. We'll go ahead and go to Region 2D. We're going to start off with Ridgeview 9-2 at Union 8-3. This game, I think, they played earlier in the year. It's 31-7 for Union. Keith Chandler had a monster of a game, offensively and defensively. But, last week, Ridgeview, I thought, put on a good showing. I think there at times, Tazewell kind of got close, but then they ended up, Ridgeview ended up pulling away. I think they, played very well in that game. Union, on the other hand, they did win against Gate City, but it was only 12-0. I didn't get to watch that one, so I don't really want to sit here and take anything away from Gate City. I'm sure that being a rival, they could have come out there and just, played great. But I also did hear that Union had a few guys hurt, and I think that from what I've heard, Chandler might be a little banged up as well. They're going to have him and everybody, if they can, healthy going into this Friday night game. A lot of people, I've watched some other shows and not saying they're wrong for this at all, but a lot of people are picking Ridgeview in this one. And I think that Union being a Bullet Park, I think that matters. And I think, playing in these big games like this, they played in a few big games this year. I think that matters. I have Union winning this one in a close one.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with the Bears as well. Once again, going back to the weather, how they like to just control the line of scrimmage, impart their will upon the game with Keith Chandler there, and they're still able to bust stuff open with Bostic. flipping something at the backside there with him. You see a lot of people getting frustrated online with Union's coaching staff, but I mean, you're giving up 0 points a game or less than 10 points a game. You're going to win a lot of high school football games like that. So I think Ridgeview's got a lot of talent, but I think that home field advantage is going to play out, and I think the Bears can get another win.
Yeah, I wish we knew more about the injuries and the health of Union. I think the weather, though, is kind of offsets that factor of maybe not being 100% healthy, and it just being at Bullet Park. They mentioned, Tailgate Talk guys mentioned it this week, and Keith mentioned it. There's something about that place, has a little magic to it. Sprinkle a little fairy dust for the Bears just from being at home. So I kind of agree with you all. I can see Ridgeview, especially Union being banged up, but being a very good game. I just think conditions and that defense, up front, Union just so physical. So I'm gonna go with Union. I wanted to pick Ridgeview with an upset, but the way the weather is going to be, I don't believe I'm gonna go out on that limb. But I'll go with the Bears.
Sure to be a good game. I'm sure, depending on where we're at Friday night, we'll probably check on scores. For Rye Cove, I don't know that we'll be checking on too many scores. Service ain't too great, but we'll definitely be listening for the announcer anyway.
That might be the only reason we should go somewhere else, so we can watch the other games.
Watch the other games. Yeah. Good point. All right, so we got Virginia High 8-3 at Graham 11-0, and the Bristol paper talked about how Graham and Rye Cove are among the 21 unbeaten teams in Virginia. So Graham's still spotless. They did have a close one against Virginia High earlier in the year. I don't want to throw that game away. There is a lot of things that you can say about it, though. I mean, Virginia High had a lot of players out. Some of the very key pieces, KeShawn that we had on earlier, he missed most of that game. But then on Graham's side, that's during the hurricane aftermath. I can't imagine playing, with all the challenges they had that week. Coach Palmer talked about it, just not having power at the facilities and not even being able to have a good pregame meal for that matter. So that game's hard to look at when you try to make a prediction for this one. I've said on the podcast, and I said last week when we did our predictions, I have Virginia High going to state on this side. I just think they have what it is right now. KeShawn, I think, is the best player. I think in Southwest Virginia that hasn't really got the major spotlight. I think there's been some big-time players that everybody talks about week in, week out, and it's well-deserved. But KeShawn, his name gets dropped here and there, but he doesn't really get spotlighted like I think it should. I think he's just a unique talent. And Burks, that we also had on, he's very solid running back, big running back, very physical. Now, Graham's had defensive front, and that's one of one. I mean, there's not another one, at least around here, I think that's at that level. I think you have at least two, I think I could see going D1. And that's special to have around here. They've been there before. It's, they've been to state now 2 years in a row. They're well equipped to handle the pressure. It's going to be a neutral stadium, but I'm still going to go with Virginia High. I think they surprise them. I think it'll be a close one. It'll be a dogfight, but I have Virginia High winning this one.
It'll be a dandy. Quite possibly a closer game than Union and Ridgeview will be. Patterson done a phenomenal job at Holston, and he's done a great job at Virginia High. And they've got the athletes to match up with Graham. Not got to watch a whole lot of Virginia High this year, and not got to watch a whole lot of Graham. But not trying to steal the motto of Tommy Gun Krieger on after the whistle and copying Ric Flair. But to be the man, you got to beat the man. And right now, I'll pick Graham until somebody beats the man.
Kind of the mindset I'm in. I keep thinking I have every reason in the world to pick Virginia High, just, based on the momentum they have right now, all the factors of common opponents, stuff like that. And It just seems like Virginia High is, for whatever reason, it seems like that's the choice that, whether way it's going right now, that you would think you would pick. But like you said, until it's happened, I just can't. I think I said last week on the podcast I was probably going to probably pick several weeks out. I think I had them getting beat, but I'm changing it up, and I've thought about it. I just can't. I mean, you got that coaching staff that's, year in, year out, that been there and producing, what they're producing. I think, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not real sure why. I can't give you an X and O's reason, but I guess it's just because, like Coach Edwards said, till you do it, I'm not going to pick against them. So I'm going to go with Coach Palmer and the G-men.
Yeah, and I mean, what a career there for Coach Palmer. If he does keep winning this, his record has been great. We mentioned it last week. I think that senior class has only lost like, 1 or 2 games, I think, throughout 4 years.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So big props to them either way.
Let me throw this out there. I will not be shocked at all, though, if Virginia High wins. Like, it's to me, it's pretty much a coin toss. I just want to make sure, I don't throw that out. Like, this is not like me saying, oh, it's an easy choice, Graham's got it. Like, I think it'll be a very, very good game, and I think it'll be very close. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Graham.
I'm in the same boat. I completely agree.
And, thing is, I sat here last week and said that, Lehigh may throw on Graham a little bit just because, I had that much confidence in Pendergraft. But, that didn't happen, and Graham's defense showed up, and, and when they do show up, and I don't think there's been a game they haven't this year, really. It's yet to be seen if you can score on them enough to win. They're so good.
I was gonna say, if it's a high scoring game, Virginia High wins.
Yeah.
I think Graham's got to keep it ugly and keep it a low scoring game. If it starts going up down the field and get to a shootout, I think Virginia High would get them in that situation. But if it's one of those slobber knocker defensive games, just I think that's what Graham is. That's their strong suit, I think. So, I predict that's what it'll be. Kind of same with Union and Ridgeview. I think if there's a lot of points scored, I think it gives the edge to Ridgeview. I think it'll be a low scoring game and Union winning it also. But anyway, you never know.
So we're gonna get here to Region 1D, and both these games are just great matchups. Very physical games, I think. But we're going to start off here with Patrick Henry, 6-5 at Eastside, 10-1. And, Coach Rhodes mentioned it earlier when he was on, these two teams, they did scrimmage there at Emory and Henry before the season started. They got some small, familiarity with each other. Not sure if the quarterback for Eastside I don't know if he got to play in that then or not.
I think the freshman played in it. I think the senior had already been injured, unfortunately.
So when they saw him from then to now, he's grown up a lot with a lot more playing time and stuff. So, this game is going to be, man, I keep going, kind of back and forth with it. I think Patrick Henry at their best, I think they could be in the region championship, and I think they could be competing in a close one at that game to go on this, to state. Man, it's hard. It is. This is like last week when I was picking between Grundy and Honecker, kind of like a coin flip. But I think
I was going to say,
I'm not going to flip this time. I want to make a decision.
I was going to say we did find out that, if not a lot, but we did find out that people do listen and people do pay attention. So if you pick or even me, we pick certain ways here, we may hear about it. Like you heard about it last week. So depending on where we go this week and how it goes, we may have people upset at us. So now we're very well aware that people do pay attention to the games we're picking.
Yeah, that was a cool experience last week. They definitely held me accountable for flipping on that one. So I guess what I'm going to go with on this, I'm going to go with Patrick Henry, but I think that there's this thing about Eastside that you have that many shutouts, you are very sound on defense, and I think that Keldon is a great defensive player. I think Luke's great on that, or at the DB position. I think that they could make this they could make it a low scoring game. I think they definitely could do that, especially being at home. But when Patrick Henry's healthy, I mean that healthy team almost beat Virginia High week 1. Now, granted, Virginia High is probably playing a lot better now than they did week 1, but Patrick Henry healthy is just a force to be reckoned with. I'm going to go with Patrick Henry, but I think it's going to be close. And like I said, I could see Eastside winning as well. I'm not going to flip, so that way people know I'm not going to create this bad reputation for myself. But hopefully the Eastside viewers in this will listen to this and maybe get some motivation out of it.
This is not your typical 3 versus 7 because 7 upset 2 matchup. If TH doesn't have the injuries they have during the year, it's probably a 2-3 matchup, a legit 2-3 matchup happening instead. I'm gonna go with Patrick Henry as well because I think they were the region favorite coming into the season by a lot of people, and that team that was that region favorite is what's on the field today, not what was on the field for week 2 through 7 or whatever of the regular season. I think it'll be a dandy ball game. What we're looking forward to here in both 1A games is physical, just a dogfight between both teams. But I think that Stewart kid being back, the Barrett kid being healthy, that's a tough combination. And I'll give PH a slight edge Friday night.
I hate having people. It's the only bad thing about having players on is I feel bad when we have them on, we pick against them. I've already done that once tonight we had Virginia High kids on, and I went with Graham. I for all the reasons you all have already pointed out, I hate to do it, but we may never be welcome to anything at Eastside again if we pick. But
well, you do have some family up there.
Well, I do, but I don't know. I may not get to go to. They might not hold it too personal. I may not, but we may not be allowed to any girls' basketball games this year. I don't know. Maybe they won't hold it against us. I don't know. But I'm gonna have to go with Patrick Henry too. I don't know. There's just something about them healthy that, and the way they performed last week. If it had been a close game with Holston last week, maybe I would be swayed here. But I think it's a very good game. I think it's a close game. I think it's going to be a very, very physical game. But just that weather, that slight edge to Patrick Henry, I feel like there. So give me Patrick Henry. I guess I'm gonna stick with it. But
well, I kind of feel what you're saying. It is hard to pick against them because I mean, in all honesty, Coach Rhodes.
Oh yeah, I mean,
love the guy.
Yeah.
I think that he's one of my favorite coaches that we've had on. Every player that has been on from Eastside has just showed great character. And even on the field from, the games we've watched, just great players, but also, shows a lot of great sportsmanship, but also like a fierceness too. Like they have that chip on their shoulder. So, I mean, a lot of great qualities from the players, through the coaching staff, and I mean at the school in general, because you mentioned that girls basketball is Coach Funk and them, and it's that whole school. Everybody that we've met there has just shown great character, and just fun to be around and talk sports with. Go ahead, Maura.
Well, I was just going to say, if they win, they're more than welcome. We'll have the whole team on next week, and they can every one of us tell us tell us how dumb we are. I'll be more than happy to to hear it, and we'll stick our foot in our mouths and whatever. But so I'm I will accept it if it happens. I'm be happy for them. Like
Yeah,
it ain't no pulling against them necessarily. It's just picking a game. So I hope obviously hope they all realize that. But anyway, go ahead.
I take no pleasure in picking against the district rival because I do think it's a coin toss myself. And although it's a district rival, I got a lot of great friends up there at Eastside as well. But if you're not welcome, Jamar, at a Eastside girls basketball game, you can come down to the nest, wear your Rye Cove cap, and sit up there with me at the game instead when we play Eastside.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because after this next pick, I'm probably going to need a home.
Well, yeah, I mean it's going to be a great game, and I mean the one thing about it is I think with any of these games, especially once we meet the players and talking to them and the coaches, you're not really upset about any of them winning. I mean, if Eastside wins, I'm going to be just as happy as if Patrick Henry won, and same way at the next game we're getting ready to go over. So, yeah, so the final one, this is a big one right here. Grundy 7-4 at Rye Cove 11-0, and as we mentioned, when we had the Grundy players on, according to the Bristol paper, this is the first time these two teams have ever met. Just a special game Friday night. We mentioned it to the players we had on, and we've talked about it, even just amongst ourselves. If you haven't been to Rye Cove and, see the crowd and the atmosphere, it's different. Like it just is. You can't say that a lot, I think, in some high school games around here. I mean, it gets kind of loud here and there, but you don't get that, like, college, like, atmosphere, like that passion. But Rye Cove, like, you get that. Like, when you go in there, you're in it. Like, the crowd's up there. They're not going to be quiet. It's just a whole different atmosphere, and especially right now, with the record that y'all have, coming from what you came from a few years ago, I think it really just enhanced everything because it gave you an appreciation of what it was like being in the lows, and now you're at where you're at. And I know that this week you're not wanting at the end, you're wanting to go on a little further. This this game is going to be one of those that it's I mentioned it to Shaiem when we had him on. Strength versus strength, like Grundy's strength, what they like to do, goes right up against Rye Cove and their strength, what they like to do. Y'all might do it in different ways, but you still like to run the ball. And that's definitely the best, method of scoring, I think, for both teams. Although Rye Cove, I think, does have an advantage as far as when it comes to passing. They can spread it out a little bit. But it's really going to, think about the Honecker game last week. Coach Lowe had his kids in the right spot a lot of times. I'll give him that. We were watching it, and a lot of those runs that Grundy had, he would stop the first attack. Like if the ball was going to go left, they would stop it. But those cutbacks, and when those backs, reverse field and they get in the open field, they're gone. Taylor, Shaiem, Logan, and then you also have Carson that just, like, he's straight ahead. He's just going to try to, run you over, and he kind of gives you that mix of both. But when those kids get in open field, it's hard for anybody to, keep up with them. The difference is, I think this week, though, is that Rye Cove has a good chance of preventing it from ever getting to the open field. I think they do have the line, and I think they have good, like, integrity on the line to where even on those cutbacks when they come, I think they could be there for them. This is a great story for Grundy because this is possibly, I think, the best chance they got to make it, a little bit further before the consolidation. And it pains me to go against them, but I am going to go with Rye Cove. I just think that, they've been in big games this year. And I think the Chilhowie game, that was a good test for them. But I think even in the Eastside game, even in the Honecker game, for that matter, I know Honecker wasn't what they were last year, but Landon, being at quarterback, that offense, they've been there. I think they're comfortable there. And I think that he'll be the difference maker. And it might be throwing the ball, it might be running, but he's a special athlete. And I think that he could have a big game. I think they might actually contain Rollins a little bit in this, but I think Landon's going to have a huge game, and I think they're going to win, but it's going to be very close, and it'll be a very, very physical game.
Pure slobber knocker, no doubt about it, from both sides. You talk about the community and rallying back and everything there. This group of kids, since they were at a very young age, people have been excited about how they played from peanut up. Everybody was excited about them, and then they put the work in the weight room, and it shows on the field. So the big key, like you said, I think Friday night is discipline, staying home, not letting a small thing turn into a big game. Because Lester, Fahim there, they get an open field, they're gone. They ain't no catching them. We can't allow the big play to happen. Plain and simple. We've got to make Grundy have to drive the ball if they're going to score. And the whole thing is we can't turn the ball over. Whoever turns the ball over the most is probably going to lose. And so we got to take care of the ball, finish drives, and if we do, we'll sort it out as it does then. I like, I'm going to ride with my guys. I got to. They've took care of business this year. And I hope they do again Friday night. I'll be glad to keep stats a few more weeks. We can make it happen.
Well, Cam, it makes it harder because, we're not from Grundy, but we're from Buchanan County. We see we're going to run into more people from Grundy. So if I pick Rye Cove, it's going to be a thing. I'm not going to bump into many folks from Rye Cove throughout the year. I will bump into people from Grundy. It is, Coach Bartley, one of our favorite guests to have on. Hard to go against him. It really is, because great guy. Great, Lester kid, Taylor, all of them, Shaiem and Luke tonight, great kids. It's just one of those deals where you hate it. I hate for this game to be, almost would rather see it in a region championship, but really not, because you got Eastside and Patrick Henry and big supporters there too, so it really doesn't matter when they play. I agree with you all about. I think Logan and Taylor getting open field, it really don't matter unless you just have the short side of the field and then a good angle. They're going to take it to the house. I think this could be a pretty high scoring game. Honestly, I think both defenses are going to have a hard time stopping the other offenses. I think Grundy will. I think they'll move the ball. I think I think at some point they're going to break one or two of those. Just bound with players like that, it's bound to happen eventually. I think Rye Cove's going to be able to move the ball on Grundy. I do think turnovers will be a big key here. Maybe whoever has the most or whoever can take advantage of when they do get them, take advantage of them. I don't think the weather really affects either team one team more than the other in this one. Both teams are battle tested. I think, I don't know. I don't know how to pick it really. But I've been a fan of one team in particular, one guy. If you watch our show, he's my guy. Big fan of him. Landon is, for whatever reason, I love watching that kid play. Love watching. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the guys at Grundy too. Love watching them play. But I got a hat. So if for no other reason than this, they sent me a hat. So somebody sends you a hat, you got to ride with them. You know what I mean? That's the only way I figure it. So give me Rye Cove.
I'm glad you broke that out. I sent your brother-in-law a message earlier tonight, said I was glad you had one of those hats.
Yeah, I try not to be biased, every week, and try to not wear, I've not got to wear it out yet. I've been trying to save it for a good time, and I'm going to make people mad at me now. I might as well put it on. I might as well go ahead now. So I don't know. No, like I said, again, no hard feelings, but I hate to go out of the county like that when it's, got a team right down the road that's I enjoy watching so much, but I want to go with the War Eagle.
I'll tell you this, at least on my side of things, I'm doing Grundy a favor because last week I picked against them and they won. So,
True.
you know,
Yeah.
it might be good for them. You know,
I prefer you change your pick, yeah.
yeah, it might be a curse. So I'm sorry if that's the case, but no, I agree with you, Jamar. I think it is hard to just, you know, with that being kind of close to home as well. You know, I would, you know, personally, especially since the schools are going to be consolidating soon, it would be a great story to see them go a little further. But it's also a great story for Rye Cove, seeing from what they've went through and to get there. And like you said, Landon, when we first started talking on this podcast last year, you know, he was one of the first names, just like Creasy. When we talked to him last week, we mentioned that, you know, those are some of the first names that we even spoke, you know, in our microphones on the podcast. It was Landon and Creasy and, of course, Peyton Music. So, yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's one of those. I feel like even if Rye Cove was favored by a lot, if you know what I mean, like if it was like one of those games where you look at it and be like, Rye Cove is clearly the better team. I would still have a hard time picking against this Grundy team. I really like watching them play. Like great, we know some of those kids, and like I said, have so much respect for Coach Bartley, and he's, you know, a great guy. So it would still be hard, but it's just you know, the fact that it's such a close game. Like not even from a standpoint of we're from here, you know, whatever. It's just it really is a hard game to pick because I feel like they're both so good at what they do, and I really do feel like all these games are going to be really, really good football games. This is one of the best region semifinals for 2A and 1A that I can remember in a while. But selfishly, if we were being selfish here, what we would pick is Patrick Henry and Grundy winning, so we would just have a short drive down the road to watch a region championship game. See, so we're not being selfish. We're going with what we really think on the field here, not our hearts. Because if it was up to me, I wouldn't drive very far next week. I'd just drive 20 minutes down the road to Grundy.
Well, so keep picking against them, we might not be invited next week.
Well, that's true too. Yeah, you know, that's true too. And again, same goes for Grundy. If y'all go over there and win next week, well, we'll take time. Every one of it can come on this show and tell us how dumb we are. I'll be more than happy to have you.
I already got called out once.
Fine, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Well, this may be our last episode. People might stop watching. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go with the War Eagle, man. Like I said, they sent me a hat. For no other reason, they actually took the time out and they mailed me a hat. So I'm good. I'm good with. I'm comfortable with my pick. You know, obviously, I'm sure they all know nothing. You know, we're just joking around, nothing personal. And
they tried to
no ill will towards anybody else, any of them. I've thought Rye Cove has been from day one. I seen them play early in the year. That's been my kind of favorite to win the region this year. Then were Patrick Henry early on is who I kind of thought would win it. And then, you know, knew Grundy would be involved, knew Eastside would be involved. But I started out with them. I'm gonna stick with them here at the end.
They tried to get you that hat at the game, I think, but
yeah,
we, like I said, no service up there. So.
See, now the problem now I just realized is when we go over there, there's not going to be any room on the Rye Cove side. So we're going to do what we always do and go to the visitor side because there's always more room. We may not not want to go stand, yeah. So I don't know how that's going to go. We may have to stand in the end zone somewhere, or I don't know, or hide. Maybe I'm not sure what we're going to do. But and if it starts snowing, we're not going to have a ride back home. So we may just somebody from Rye Cove may have to take us back to Nicholsville so we can stay with my sister. But
I'll say maybe change that Twin Springs Twin Valley basketball game you was a part of, I believe.
Luckily, I didn't have to drive back very far that night. But I did end up in the hospital that night, though. We had to make a trip down the road that night in that weather.
I do remember that in the earlier podcast y'all had talking about that. And I remember that one of the guys I officiated with, I believe that was the year he was hosting the foreign exchange student that was on that team, and talking to him about the trip out of Pilgrims and all that night.
All parties involved that night, I guarantee, have a story, whether it's a fan or official, a coach, a player. I guarantee everybody has a story about leaving that gym. That is wild. All of us. I mean, it just, if you heard about it, you know the story. But it went from not doing anything to absolute blizzards, and it wasn't just that it was sticking. The roads were white, everything was slick. I mean, it was bad. But yeah, I hope that doesn't happen to us. Come on the way up.
That would be
that'd be awful. But it was much later in the year, I think, for that one. So I don't think it's cold enough right now for us to have to worry too much about it. But
if you come to the Cove, I can probably offer you Wi-Fi, but I don't know that I can offer you a horn-free environment.
Oh, that's a fact. Yeah.
You know, I don't need a horn-free environment. But I do think certain people need to be a little bit more situational awareness of when you need to blow that thing. I think we've said before, just because it's, you don't need to do it every place. But yeah, I mean, I love it. I think, that's a great, like you said, that's part of going over there and that atmosphere. But it's gonna be loud over there, and there's gonna be a lot of horns.
Somebody from Grundy last week after the game, one of my family members, they were asking me about Rye Cove. They hadn't been over there. And I said, well, if you don't like air horns, you probably need to wear some earplugs or something, because I'm pretty sure they hand them out to every person as they come through the gate. It feels like it anyway.
I told them there's more air horns at Rye Cove than per capita at Rye Cove than any town in Virginia.
Sure. Twin Springs has that big monster setup.
Yeah.
But I don't know if y'all realized what was hidden down in that one end zone at Rye Cove either.
It must have been. I think I remember that. It was a big one, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
There's a massive shift horn down there that it'll get your attention.
We talked about that, J. Moore. Remember?
Yeah.
We talked about that big one down there. Yeah,
the most annoying one. I don't want to talk about this girl. I don't know who she was. No, I don't know how old she was. But the most annoying horn was the one that was just going off random in between quarters. Just kept. I mean, it was. Somebody needed to kind of get with her and say, hey, maybe save it for the game when it's going on here. I don't know. That's a lot of fun. I have fun. But I do have a question at the concession stand. There's an item you can get. I think it was called the crow's nest. What is
the Eagle's
nest?
Eagle's
nest. Sorry, the crow's nest. Eagle's nest.
Yeah.
The Eagle's nest. That's been going on for 25, 30 years now at Rye Cove. But I guess you might think back to the days of Eastside with a walking taco or something in a way. But it's corn chips, typically chili cheese, salsa, banana peppers, jalapenos if you want to stream an Eagle's nest, stuff like that. So yeah, but they changed chilies at the first of the year. Apparently, I saw one of the band parents post about it last week. That they changed chilies. It apparently wasn't quite as good, so they've changed back to the old standby. So it should be back on point.
It's going to be good and cold, so more jalapenos the better probably be.
That's right. That's exactly right.
We need to try that Friday night if we get down there. What we have talked about, and I don't know that. We kind of talk about things. Sometimes they don't come to fruition, but we had talked about doing a concession stand, like maybe not like a ranking or a grade, but even just a
review type thing.
Yeah, like a review type thing, especially with like certain items like that, to where we'll go and try it and kind of give our thoughts on it. I'm sure nothing will be negative. I know how much work all these communities put into even the concession stand. But yeah, we might do that, especially with basketball season coming around too. I'm sure there'll be some items that we want to try out. But
those are concession stand staples at Rye Cove. The Eagle's Nest is for all sport.
I don't know why I said crow's nest. I knew it wasn't crow's nest, but I'm not sure where it come from. But the Eagle's Nest, I'm really looking forward to them. I think there'll be some great games. Like I said, it's going to be a very good Friday night for football. Looking forward. And I think no matter which team comes out of this weekend, going into region, whoever comes out of it, especially in both of them, 2A and 1A, but particularly 1A, I think whoever comes out has a good chance. just as good a chance as anybody. There's some tough competition in the other regions, but I think
they're going to be battle tested.
It's going to be very, very. They went through a gauntlet to get there, and I think it's going to be great moving forward. But yeah,
I just I do want to mention. You're talking about some of the other teams. Grayson County and Georgia West also played this week.
Okay.
I think Grayson County had beat them, if I'm not mistaken, earlier in the year. Close one, but I think Grayson County, if I remember reading it right, they had actually jumped up on them by quite a bit, and then Georgia West tried to pull off a comeback.
And
that's a game.
Bath County, I think, is the one who they play. They're the 1 seed, I think, in C.
Narrows,
okay.
Narrows.
Yeah, so.
And Narrows is a tricky team, too.
2A, you got Riverheads out there just kind of blooming in the shadows waiting for whoever comes out. But
no, they're even
they're
a
3
seed. They're double A.
They're double A. So they're down. So they're not a 1 seed this year?
No, they're a 3, I think, if I remember right.
Does that anything to do with their schedule they played, or are they a favorite, or have you seen much of that?
I don't know. I saw them in the paper, but
they got upset like week 10 or something over there, and that kind of dropped them a spot or so there. That may have been who they beat real close last week to open the playoffs or something other, if I remember right as well. But they're solid. They'll be back in 1A next year, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's a sad thing, and I think that I'm trying to think. There's Glenvar. That's the other team to watch for, and double A. And Altavista, I think, in my opinion, will be the team that whoever on this side ends up making it. If they, we hope that somebody out this way makes it to the state championship. I think Altavista is who they're going to meet.
Yeah.
They're undefeated. They played great all year. It just sucks because it seems like back when Thornhill played, that's the besides the Riverhead days, Altavista was the other team that for about 3 or 4 years there, they just they kept winning it.
Seems like Riverhead has flopped back and forth more here recently than you and your picks came.
I mean, you didn't have to take that kind of shot at me on air here. So
I'm trying to draw attention. I'm trying to draw attention away from my overproduction, my big production, big production. Not only did I pick them, but I did all the production thing. I'm trying to deflect.
You just wait because I'm the one that puts out the stuff. I crop you out with that hat on and throw it up on a promo or something. Or
let me get home from work tomorrow first.
Safely,
because I work with some guys from Grundy and stuff, and I took Friday off, so I don't have to be back in Buchanan County after I leave work. Not Buchanan County, but out of my house, I don't have to go out anywhere until. Yeah. So just let me get home first, and then it'll be good. Put it all out.
No, something I did want to just ask real quick. I know I'm pretty late right now, but I just want to ask Michael this real quick because you had, so many years being involved in the sport and seen a lot of great players. What's kind of your take on the quarterback play in this area over the last few years? Because I think that, I'm not as old as, I've not seen as much football. That's what even both of you have. Jamor is older than me. Yeah. I had to walk it back a little bit.
Sounds like you're about to say something there. I don't know.
I had to reframe it and walk it back a little bit, but I've not seen as much football as either one of you. But in the time that I've watched it, you just look everywhere in every direction, and there's just elite quarterback play. And I'm talking about like historically, like record-breaking quarterback play. Kind of just like, what's your take on that? Being around the sport in this area for so long.
Well, as a collection, it's at a better level as a collection today than it's ever been. I'm sure part of that goes back to all the 7-on-7 work that's done. But just the way the game itself has developed at all levels of play, that has trickled down to the high school level also. So seeing kids like Reese, Creasy, Quinn, Landon, Music, you can go on and on. A lot of really good quarterbacks right now that can put the ball on the money and hurt you through the air. The Chapman kid at Chilhowie is super impressive as well. I don't think he gets enough recognition. How he moved in the pocket to create time and kind almost turn it into a backyard game was really impressive to me. Pendergraft at Lee, it goes on, and you didn't do that before. Yeah, I can take, for instance, say my senior year. Hey, I had some really good running backs, and it was just make sure I take the snap and hand it off. But I had in our district, I think one year I had the most completions on the fewest attempts. It wasn't exactly hard to be the leading passer because we didn't throw it a whole lot. It's just a different time. I mean, you had guys back in the day, Travis Turner, Heath Miller stuff, that they were unique in their skill set compared to everybody else. And now you've got multiple guys. I mean, I think I heard Trigger mention it on Around the Horn, or after the whistle, I should say, early in the year. You look at last year's quarterback for each district, and you had Music, Landon, and Lester as your top 3 quarterbacks, and who they're trying to pick for our region. I mean, that's just a hard group to pick from. They're just all so talented, plain and simply. You didn't have that before. It was rare to have anybody throwing for 1,000 yards. Now you got people, pushing that $2,000 yard mark, and lots around 1,000. So yeah, it's just a different time, and because of that, the play's got so much better.
I feel like it's I almost compare it to how, like basketball terms, like everybody used to play through the post. That's what you did. If you have a big guy, you're going to struggle. And now now everybody's shooting threes. I kind of feel like it's kind of like that. Like where now, if you're not shooting threes, you got a really good post player. The post player's the outlier now, and everybody's shooting threes. I feel like it's kind of like that with the running game and passing game now. It's like just what becomes more popular over time, and now it's like you said, because of 7-on-7s and development and more I guess skills camps for some of these guys. It's just kind of a natural progression. But I think it's great. I often wonder if you took some of them quarterbacks from back in the day, 90s and early 2000s, and you took them out, you plugged them into this era, I'm sure you'd have some very good numbers. And still, I think it's just like I said, a style thing, and it's not taking anything away from those quarterbacks that are putting those numbers up now. But a lot of it is contributed to the style. I don't think they're just skill level, heads and shoulders above past generations. I think there's just more of them, and they're having more opportunities. So it's like it's more obvious, I think, and it's more evident that there's you see them more, because there's some great quarterbacks back in the day that probably could do the same things if they were playing now.
Yeah, I mean, you said just go back in time, somebody like Randy Jenkins that played at Pennington in the 70s. He goes on to be a starting quarterback at Kentucky and starting punter, and plays for the Cowboys, mostly as a punter, but still, I mean, they could sling it. It was just a different time, and it didn't happen in that manner like it does now. So, there's been those guys around. Coach Collier there at Rye Cove, some of the stories of what he's done at Pennington and at Emory or something else. There's been those guys, but it's, so many were stuck in the wishbone, stuck in the veer, stuck in the tee. It just wasn't, sitting 4 and 5 wide just wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Tommy Gunn himself.
I mean, imagine putting him
in the air raid.
Yeah. Especially with some of the athletes he probably had on that Grundy team. If they just if they weren't a running team and they actually worked on like a spread or any kind of stuff like that, imagine what he could have done. Probably the yards he would have put up. I mean, it's yeah. So
yeah. Well, guys, I could sit on here and talk all night. And Michael, I'd love to have you back on again here soon. I really enjoyed this. I think the fans are going to really enjoy it. Maybe besides Eastside and Grundy. Sorry, guys. But yeah, like I said, I really enjoy it, man. Thank you for coming on.
Anytime, y'all just reach out if you need me. And if I've got a way to make it happen, I'll be glad to.
Appreciate that.
Yep. And guys, we'll go ahead and conclude this episode. And safe travels Friday night. And yeah, I mean, just let's enjoy these games. See you next time. God bless.